Conning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. Welcome into the show, everybody. Lots to get to today here on a Tuesday. Trade deadline wrapped up. Obviously, we already had the Scooble news over the weekend, but Tigers make their final decisions on what to do yesterday. They send Casey Mize away. They keep Gleyber Torres, which is exactly what Kyle and I both predicted would happen yesterday. And what we wanted to happen, we differed on a little bit. I'm glad that the Tigers kept Casey Mize. So we're going to start the show right there. We'll get to Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan Robinson just got paid this morning. What does that mean for the Gibbs contract? What does that mean for this hold-in that he's doing here at Allen Park? Get to that and a bunch of other training camp stuff across the NFL as well today. Let's start here, Kyle. Yesterday, we're waiting, we're golfing, we're hitting balls out of bounds, we're waiting, and all of a sudden 6 o'clock rolls around, and it's no trade. What's going on? And boom, right at the buzzer, Casey Mize gets dealt. For a while, I like once 5 o'clock rolled around, I really did think that the Tigers were going to elect to not make an additional move outside of shipping Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers. Well, they end up shipping Casey Mize out to California as well. He is now a member of the San Diego Padres. They get their number 2 prospect back in return. He's not a top 100 guy, but he is a lefty. You know, it's a replacement pitcher. Pretty nice upside, and considering he was a 2024 first-round pick. So we'll see what ends up happening there. It's not like he's ready to join the Detroit Tigers Major League Club at all. We're going to talk to Jaden Taylor, who is the high A affiliate of the San Diego Padres here in the 11 o'clock hour, just to get a little recap on the player that the Tigers are getting back into their farm system. Because really quietly, like this is kind of just a side note, really quietly, the Tigers went from not having any arms in their farm system to look forward to, I don't want to call it having an abundance of them, but Scott Harris added a bunch of them really quickly.
There's people there, at least.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important part.
Over the past couple of months. So that's kind of a side note to pin for another time. But they end up keeping Gleyber Torres, which I'm glad they did. I didn't want to just punt on the entire season, and I think that's where some Tigers fans get confused. Oh, you trade away 2 starting pitchers. That means you're punting on the season regardless. Not really. Not really at all, because you have Jackson Jobe coming back. In theory, maybe you have Justin Verlander coming back. But even if you don't, you still have 5 guys to field going forward between Troy Mellon, Kiter Montero, Jackson Jobe, who should be on the Tigers within the next 10 days or so, and that might even be generous. And then they kept Jack Flaherty, and then whoever that 5th person is, whether it's Justin Verlander, River Ryan once he's healthy, JV, they have the guys to go field a 5-man rotation that's still pretty solid. I feel pretty good about the rotation right now, even without Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize. But to lose Gleyber Torres, I thought would have been a pretty impactful loss in terms of the quality of at-bats he gives you at the top of the lineup every single day. So I'm glad they're still in contention to make the postseason. They're only 2.5 games out right now. I feel pretty good about the Tigers the rest of the way, and I do feel like they can make some noise if their offense continues to play the way that they have really all summer long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I still think the case would have been the same if Gleyber Torres was traded. Like, I don't think keeping Gleyber Torres was like now they can't make the playoffs. And now that they've kept him, it's like they can make the playoffs. I felt the same way whether he was on the team or not. Obviously, he helps the situation. He helps the team out. So I'm not going to sit here and act foolish and say that it's the same exact odds now that they have him if they traded him. But I just still look at the circumstances of, man, there was not a lot of right-handed bats moved. And maybe that was just the situation. You made the case yesterday that, well, yeah, they should, if Casey Mize doesn't get traded, they'll get the comp pick. There isn't that option with Gleyber Torres. So you will essentially just be losing him for nothing. And I don't know, maybe the return for Torres wasn't there, and that's why they elected to keep him instead. And it is a way for Scott Harris. I know we're going to talk about all the comments that he had yesterday when he was speaking with the media. Maybe this was his way of spinning it to the Tigers fans that we aren't punting. We're keeping Gleyber Torres, who's a consistent guy at the top of this lineup, and he makes our lineup more complete, which are true statements, and it makes sense. So I don't hate it. I still wanted them to move Gleyber, but there's a world where the value just wasn't there.
They traded away Casey Mize and actually got pretty good value for him. To get a team that doesn't have a strong farm system, but to get a number 2 prospect in their entire system back in return, who I don't want to say is a 1-for-1 replacement, but you trade away Casey Mize to get an arm back in return. You attached another player to that as well. But I thought overall, when you look at keeping Gleyber, trading Mize, trading Skubal, and the returns that they got, not a hard bar to surpass. I think this is Scott Harris's best deadline as the Tigers GM. Again, really low bar to get on top of, but I think, like, in terms of the individual value of each of these trades and what they got back, I didn't mind the value at all for either of them. I've already made the case multiple times that I think the Skubal offer and the return that they got back for him was totally fine. And again, you were going to talk about some of the things that Scott Harris said at his press conference yesterday momentarily about why they didn't wait until Monday night to make that trade once they felt like they got Zaire Hope on the table, felt like they just wanted to get that deal done and there was no point in waiting. I have no problem with that thought process in that. But with the 2 arms that they dealt, it does feel like they got pretty good return back for them. And I do kind of tip my cap to Scott Harris for turning the page to the next era of the Detroit Tigers. I know I've brought this up before, but you move on from Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize, who were fundamentally, foundational parts for this Tigers team for the last X amount of years. You turn that page, you send those players away, and all of a sudden you have Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark and Jackson Jobe and Troy Melton. And I look at that core and I look at the core that they had prior, even with a Tarek Skubal 2-time Cy Young winner. I'm just more excited for this core and what they can do going forward, because I do feel as if what the Tigers have right now is their core is the deepest it's ever been, and that includes the Tarek Skubal era over the past 3 seasons. I feel like the ceiling for this group that they have right now is higher than anything that they've had in the past 4 or 5 years.
You mean like this core going forward, or you just mean, okay.
Not this season necessarily.
Right, of course. Sure, I still think that their farm system it looks better now. On paper, it looks better. It certainly isn't one of the best in baseball. And so to say this is like the best that the core has ever looked, I think is probably a bit of an overreaction.
But I'm not necessarily talking about the farm system. Like, just the guys on the team right now. With Clark, McGonigal, Troy Melton, Dingler, Green.
It's the combination of both. I think that's probably the best the case for it, is the fact that it's not just, okay, we're the Athletics, we have an awesome core of batters and position players, but we have 0 pitching to look forward to. Or it'd be the opposite way, and you have a ton of great pitchers, but there's not anybody in the lineup. It is nice that the Tigers can have that mix of both. I will say, to your Scott Harris point, this is Scott Harris's best deadline. I mean, that's like me on hole 3 at the golf course after I've sliced my first 2 drives. Oh, I didn't go OB on this one? That's my best drive of the day. I'm getting credit for that? Like, I don't think, I mean, sure, it was his best deadline. Great, good for him. Look at the other ones.
Yeah, the other ones have been total garbage. So the bar, like I said, the bar was not very high to begin with, but it was his best deadline. I liked the return that they got back for both of these players. I like bringing in Zaire Hope. I like that they actually dealt Casey Mize.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a Scott Harris deadline if there wasn't a buzzer beater, man. He just can't. Yeah, exactly. That's just his thing. He's got to drill one late in the game.
It's like he waits until the last second on purpose to be like, you know what? Let's make this a little entertaining. Let's stress our fans out all day.
Yeah, I mean, we like you said, you and I were convinced that Casey Mize wasn't getting traded, and I was just like, really? Like I could see the Glaber piece of it. I can understand it. And now that it literally has happened, I do understand it. The Mize, if they would have kept Mize, I would not have understood it for a second.
So I guess nobody wanted Kenley Jansen. That adds up.
Yeah.
I never really understood that when the Tigers
Nobody
were like,
wanted Drew
yeah,
Anderson.
we're putting Kenley Jansen up on the trade block. It's like, really?
Well, bad
I don't
sure,
think there's going to be guys
sure.
like seagulls swarming you for him.
Bad relievers get traded every deadline. Just because it's like, oh, we'll take a risk on this guy.
Sure.
You know, like, look at the 7 bad relievers the Tigers traded for last year.
Yeah.
You know, so it made sense to say, like, oh, yeah, we could trade Kenley Jansen. But now they can look forward to hey, maybe he'll move up on the closer list still, you know, whatever.
Remember for the first month of the season, or like the first couple times he came out as a reliever to save a game, it was like, oh, this is going to be such a fun storyline. And now every time he comes out, I'm just like holding my breath and pulling my hair out.
Like, should I continue watching or should I just go on the game cast here? Because I don't want to rip my hairs out.
Yeah, they're one of 2 teams with more blown saves than saves this year. One of 2 teams have that going for them, and the Tigers are one of them. Thank you, Kenley Jansen. Overall, I give the deadline a B or B+.
Yeah, I think I still rock with the B- move. The Mize move is nice. I think the Mize move is really good for a rental, and I see people just saying the quote rental, and there was a couple other trades that were made across baseball where the return was like, whoa, like what the Los Angeles Angels got for Jose Soriano. That's like a whoa. One, he wasn't a rental, but Mize was not your typical rental. It's a guy who just has never put it together for a full year. Mm-hmm. So you have that on top of he has had, 3 different injury scares this season?
Yeah.
On top of every injury scare he's had his entire career. Like, getting that value for Mize was, A, worth just keeping him and getting the competitive balance round pick. But B, I think just very good. It's a very good return for his circumstances. So I'll take that. You still traded Skubal in a world where you probably didn't want to trade Skubal, and Scott Harris talked about that. Like, I'm not going to give them credit for that, so that's why I'll go the B-.
This is like the kid, I'm trying to think of an analogy. This is like the kid who just consistently comes back with D's and F's in school, and then he comes home and he got his first B, and it's like, look, Mom, I got a B. It's like, awesome. Let's aim for a little bit higher
You
next
didn't
time,
fail.
buddy. Yeah, you didn't fail.
Let's do more of that.
Right. Let's put together a couple deadlines in a row like that.
Are you speaking from experience, Ben?
No, I was a pretty good student growing up, usually. That until I got to like my last year of college where I was like, oh, my GPA doesn't matter at all. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, oh, nice.
989-837-6125. Fill in the blank. Scott Harris after this deadline is what? Scott Harris is what? I'll tell you a couple things that I wrote down when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We'll get to the Jahmyr Gibbs situation. He spoke on it yesterday, barely, just a few words, but Bijan Robinson also got paid, so a lot to get to there. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. You know, we talk about, storms coming through. Bresky Siding and Building Repair. They know how to get your house looking perfectly. That is because they are the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. We talk about the game plan all the time on the show, the execution of it, and that's how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. Check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Fill in the blank, Kyle. Scott Harris is blank. I wrote down a bunch of different things because I think this is a good time to just kind of assess Scott Harris and the job he's done as the president of baseball operations, because in a lot of ways, by trading away Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal, he's reset his timeline a little bit. It's not like there's a ton of pressure on him for this season for the Tigers to make the playoffs like there would have been if they decided to keep Tarek Skubal or buy at the deadline to add a couple arms. Because if they would have done that and missed the playoffs, I think there's a pretty good chance Scott Harris might have been kicked down down Woodward and left in a box under a bridge. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think Scott Harris has bought himself a little bit of time by trading away Skubal and Mize. So I've got a couple different things. Scott Harris is blank. First thing I wrote down was Scott Harris is going to be the president of baseball operations for at least another year and a half. And knowing who the owner is, probably more than that.
Yeah, probably way more than that. Probably like 3 more years. Because how long do we give the Yzerman leash of like, okay, he overstayed his welcome by blank?
Probably 2 years.
Even when the conversation began. Yeah, 2 years probably. Are we at that point right now with Scott Harris? Probably not, because he just traded away Tarek Skubal. We felt that way going into the deadline, but we have to play this thing out.
So I do think it's all but a guarantee he's here for another year and a half, and I'm with you. It's probably just going to be much later on than that. Scott Harris is blank. Scott Harris is turning the page to a new chapter for the Detroit Tigers. This one's kind of sweet. I like this one. Last chapter had its ups and downs. There were some really good highs. There were some really bad lows. But it kind of went on too long, and now it's time to turn your page to, what we've actually been working towards, and that's the Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark chapter of this Detroit Tigers franchise.
Give me the exact phrasing you used on that again. Scott Harris is blank.
Turning the page to a new chapter of the Detroit Tigers.
He is doing that. So I guess I will. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's the fact that is he building something special or not, right? Is this something legit? Is this something that they can look more forward to than the Skubal and Mize era? That he didn't build. Like, it's not like that's his guys.
Correct.
Like, you could make the argument now Scott Harris is finally getting to the point where the team is mainly his moves. It's no longer the Al Avila, like, they have still that core of guys. Not saying that's a good thing that they're doing that, but at least Scott Harris can hang his hat on that. I have McGonigal. I have Clark. I know Job wasn't drafted by him, but he's been developed throughout the system by him. He's made some trades now. Zaire Hope is going to be a guy that's on the team. Ryan has mentioned most of the signings were all his at this point. Gleyber Torres, Framber Valdez, outside of Javi Baez, most of the signings were all his. So at least he can hang his hat on that part of it.
That brings me to my next one. Scott Harris is starting to see his dream come true. Now, maybe his dream was just to become the president of baseball operations. I'm sure the
selling
end
at
of
the
it,
deadline.
No, I'm sure the end of the dream is, winning a World Series. But the roster that he's always had in mind the last couple of years, built on the foundation of Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal and Jackson Jobe and Troy, that's all starting to come to fruition now. So I do think there's a part of him, and he made mention during his press conference yesterday, held to select media, that he hated selling at the deadline, but he felt like it was irresponsible not to. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You had to sell Tarek Skubal, and he told you exactly what you and I, Kyle, have been telling our audience too. May was impossible to recover from. Impossible. The situation that the Tigers presented Scott Harris, and he took all the blame. So, in his own words, the situation that he caused by them going 6-22 in May led to them being sellers at the deadline. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to do that. But nonetheless, since June 1st has rolled around, since May has ended, I feel like Scott Harris, in a lot of ways, has started to see his dream, start to become a little bit more clear at the big league level.
I agree with the part of it that he says it would have been irresponsible to not do it. That's where the sentence should have ended. It should not have been, us being as bad as we were this year is the reason why we had to trade him. No, don't say that. You always should have traded him. Because I know we're going to talk about the comments, so I guess I'll save it for that. But sure, I agree with the fact that, yes, it was irresponsible not to do it. Yes, it would have been irresponsible.
Well, let's just throw the thing up on the stream right now. We obviously have a couple quotes from Scott Harris. We're not going to get all of them in, but Brad Galley does an amazing job covering a lot of the Detroit teams down in Detroit. Former WXYZ Detroit sports director, and he was in on the press conference and quoted a couple of the notable things that Scott Harris has said. So if you're up on our YouTube stream, you'll be able to see that right now. I'll read a couple of them. I hate selling, he said. I thought it would be irresponsible to not do it. So that's that first thing that we and Kyle and I just talked about. I don't think we played well enough. I don't think I did enough to add. The answer was no, and that's about, him feeling that if it was in the best interest to trade Tarek Skubal and whether or not they did enough. Maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse or whatever the opposite of that is, not buying enough this past offseason to help the bats kind of come alive early on in the year, because it was always dependent on McGonigal and Clark to get here eventually. Feels like they weren't going to go fill any of those spots. They were never going to go sign in a center fielder, and they were never going to go sign an additional shortstop or third baseman for that matter. They waited until Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark were here, which ultimately is panning out, but it led to them going 6-22 in May, which you've made the point.
Yeah.
Was maybe a blessing in disguise for this team because they lucked into having to trade Tarek Skubal.
And I think it's honestly less of that. Like when Scott Harris does take credit for, I'm to blame for us not putting us in the right position. I don't think it's as much as we didn't sign an extra offensive player. Like, does a third baseman make this team 4 games above 500? Like, they would have an 8 WAR at that standpoint, you know? So, like, I think it's more of the moves that I made this offseason, the specific moves I made didn't work. Framber Valdez stinks. Justin Verlander hasn't pitched. Like, I did make proactive moves. Gleyber Torres, we brought him back, has just been healthy for less than he's been out. Like, the 3 specific moves that I made have put this team in a bad position. I think that's what he's taking credit for, rather than, we didn't add enough.
One of the other
right?
I think you're right about that.
You don't got anything to say?
No, I think you're totally right about that. Yeah, the moves that he made this past offseason were not enough. And sure, maybe he's not saying I should have added more. He's saying that this just hasn't worked out. It's kind of been a common theme for Scott Harris in free agency about the free agents not really working out. Like Gleyber Torres has overall the years he's been with Detroit, but every pitcher that he signed, whether it's Kenta Maeda, Alex Cobb, Justin Verlander, who's sadly in that group, and then Framber Valdez, who's like, I don't know how he can't be in that group right now. It just hasn't worked out for any of these guys. And then you can get the closers in there as well, like Kenley Jansen and Kyle Finnegan, who gave him a nice second half last year. But he's been a disaster this year because they have all these old guys in their bullpen. These old guy closers fall off a cliff. And that's what all the Tigers guys have done. The last one I have for you for now is Scott Harris is apparently cross-eyed. And that goes to the last quote that I have for you guys. I try to run this organization with one eye firmly planted on the present and one eye fixed on the future. This deadline was a very difficult decision point. I can understand that. I can understand why that's difficult. You want to try to gun for this thing now, and because you've got some Tigers fans and some media like breathing down your neck about we have to go gun for this thing. Yet we all know the right thing to do and the smart thing to do was to move off of Tarek Skubal. So it is a difficult thing to balance. I just wonder at what point does Scott Harris have to put both of his eyes on the present? And I feel like that has to happen within the next year and a half. Like by this time next year, I hope there's not one eye on the future and one eye on the present. I hope it's all in the present. And I'm not going to say Scott Harris should have done that this year because, again, we're kind of seeing his team come to fruition right now for the first time with all the players that he has drafted and developed. But once these guys are all here, and spoiler alert, they are kind of here right now between Joe, McGonigal, and Clark, we got to have both eyes fixated on the future because at some point we have to be all in at the deadline. And Scott Harris has never had to do that. Yes, on the present.
Yeah, I mean, to your point that you made about the core earlier, like the future kind of is the present at this point, right? I mean, most of the future is already at the big league level, and the rest of the guys that you feel good about for the future are nearing the bigs. A guy like Zaire Hope, we hope is on the Tigers roster. It's very early next season, if not on the opening day roster. Sure, the 2 pitchers that they acquired at the deadline that are the high A guys, yeah, they're not going to be here next year, but they're also not the top prospects. Like, everyone that has been faithful and you have some hope for going forward, no pun intended, was Zaire. They're here. They're in the bigs right now. So the future is the present at this point, which maybe that is the reason why 2027, I know we did this for 2026, 2027 should be looked at as the year that the Tigers can finally win the division.
But it doesn't even have to be like, well, yeah, it can be looked at as the year the Tigers can win the division. But unlike this year, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we have to be all in this year. This can be for the next 3 years, we feel pretty good about what we have going for us right now, especially if they lock down Clark or Dingler or Green or any combination of those 3 guys or the pitchers. Like, there's just a lot to work with right now. So I don't want Tigers fans to lose sight of, oh, Skubal's gone. I'm not telling you it's a good thing Skubal's gone, but I am telling you it's a good thing what they have going for them right now in terms of what they're building towards and what they have currently. 989-837-6125. Scott Harris is what? It's the question I have for you guys. We'll hit the news. We'll do around the league, some football to get you in the 10 o'clock hour. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9. The Mitt already told you the 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Iron Stack. What I didn't tell you is that you can tee up at Sandy Ridge, Midland's hidden gem. Now featuring a brand new clubhouse, part lounge, part hangout, all class, perfect for cooling down or talking smack after 18. Smooth greens, scenic fairways, and enough birdies to make your buddies jealous, whether you're a weekend warrior or just there for the vibes. Sandy Ridge brings the game and the chill. Book a tee time and plan your outing today, or just stop by and pretend you know how to read a green. That's Sandy Ridge Golf Course, the hidden gem that's way too good to stay a secret.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
989-837-6125. We'll get to the messages here. We'll get to a Lions conversation surrounding Jahmyr Gibbs because Bijan Robinson did get paid this morning. So we got to talk about how that's going to impact Gibbs. We're going to hit the news here just a second. Actually, I decided we're going to hit the messages right now. So let's go there. Let's go. This one says, Skubal was not coming back to the Tigers. At least they got 3 maybes for Skubal. As a Tigers fan, I know that was the right move. Yeah, couldn't agree more. It was lose him for nothing, attempt to chase a postseason in which there were just like weird vibes in which you knew he wasn't going anywhere. That's the other thing with the Scott Harris thing that happened yesterday, Kyle. I kind of think he is a truthful guy and just kind of says, I don't think he's just lying to lie, and I don't know if he's smart enough to lie to, like with purpose. But he did say something along the lines of, well, they made it super clear that they were going to free agency. So there was one time where we tried to get a contract extension done. They basically laughed us off and said, no, we're going to free agency, and we never tried again. Couple issues with that. I would have liked, even if you get told that, at least continue like trying once in a while, like once or twice a year.
Yeah, does that mean you're never going to try again?
Yeah, like keep trying at least. But
yeah, this was the most, like, I thought the best Harris quote of the whole thing.
Both things could have been true, though. Scott Harris could have been not trying, plus Skubal, even if he was, Skubal would have insisted on getting to free agency. And again, I don't really think he's lying in this case.
I think that's what we always thought, right? Especially with Boris. Skubal was always going to hit the open market.
Which makes me like cry a river, Tarek Skubal, about so sad that I got traded. I want to be here forever. Cry me a river then, dude. If you never once came to the table to even discuss a potential contract extension and you were dead set on I will get to free agency no matter what, then go cry me a river, dude. You can't have it both ways. You can't say I only want to play for Detroit, I want to be here forever, and then not come to the table when it's time to come to the table and negotiate a contract. Because it sounds like he wouldn't even do that. He wouldn't even come to the table and start having a conversation, let alone signing a contract.
Yes.
So if this is the case, and again, I don't have any reason to think it's not, then have fun in L.A., man. It seems like he didn't want to be here. And it was all a facade.
And here's the part that I wish Scott Harris, he like half blamed Skubal and Scott Boras. And it kind of just overall fits all of the half stuff that we've been talking about over the last 2 days. Like you just mentioned with the one quote. Oh, they're kind of worried about the future, but they're kind of worried about the now. Oh, they kind of are going to buy in free agency, but they're kind of not willing to pay Tarek Skubal. Are they small market? Are they not? It fits the whole identity right now, the identity crisis, you could say. He should full blame Tarek Skubal. What's he doing saying but we tried, but he didn't really want to hit the open market, but we felt that we had to trade Skubal because I put us in a bad spot to lose games. No, just say the reason we traded Tarek Skubal is because he had zero interest in re-signing with the Tigers. That should be the end of the sentence. It shouldn't matter that you lost to the Baltimore Orioles on a Wednesday at the end of July. He didn't want to be here, so we traded him.
He went to bat for Skubal because he kept saying all the stuff like,
and I don't understand it.
Nobody should blame him. It's his right to get to free agency, which it is. You also could have won the favor of a lot more Tigers fans if you just kind of threw him under the bus and ran over him a couple of times, which I'm sure he doesn't want to do necessarily. But
also, is it not exactly what happened? That's the part that I just can't. If I'm Scott Harris, I would not take the approach of, because he also said, yeah, I decided we were going to trade Skubal and Mize after the loss against the Orioles, the Skubal blown loss. Okay, what?
You didn't have to say that.
You did not have to say that, and you also didn't have to say, yeah. The position we were in right now, I would have felt irresponsible to not move him. Yes, that's true. It should have just been, hey, I'm the president of the baseball team. Our best player doesn't want to re-sign here. I will lose my job if I don't trade him. So that's why I traded him. And that's all he should have said, and it would have been the smart thing to do because it's exactly what happened. Put all the blame on Tarek Skubal. Because I think a good amount of the fan base, now that he is officially gone, it has kind of moved into yeah, I don't really like Tarek Skubal anymore. We have someone in our YouTube chat, Gary. I'm the only one who wants to see Skubal fall on his face in L.A., a bit petty and vindictive. I own that.
He's on the mound tonight, going up against the Cubs. He's never pitched at Wrigley.
If I'm Scott Harris, you're right. He is kind of this nice guy, mentality person or whatever. Dude, you're one of the 30 president of baseball operations. Like, you're supposed to be cutthroat. You're working with Scott Boras as his agent. You're not going to look like the villain here. I promise you. Like, go 10 toes down, man. I traded Skubal because he didn't want to be here. And that's the end of the sentence. Let's talk about something else.
But then somebody gets called a liar no matter what, if that's the case, because Skubal has insisted, oh, I want to be here, oh, I want to play in Detroit. And then
why
it
did
does
he
result
say,
in a soured relation ship no matter what. But at that point, who cares?
Is
He's
it not
playing
already,
in LA. He's
is it
playing
not
across
already
the
soured?
country.
I think it was soured the second the Tigers offered him the Ford for $80 million contract.
Yeah,
you know?
or brought him to court over, lowballed him in arbitration. Like, he was soured then, too.
Yeah, it's been that way. No matter what Tarek Skubal says and cries when he gets traded. Like, I'm not trying to... I love the Tarek Skubal experience when he was pitching in a Tigers uniform. But we're not going to sit here and act like it was all roses and flowers in his final season. There was clearly a broken relationship there. And I just wish that... Because then, like you said, well, yeah, he's trying to keep the relationship nice, Scott Harris is, and he doesn't want to... Somebody's lying here.
Who cares?
Who cares? That's what I'm saying. You offered him a contract. He said no 2 years ago, and you didn't go back to him at all. Okay, then why even bring that up? Why even do this half-seas thing?
That's why I don't have any reason to think that Scott Harris ever lies, because he just, like, self-incriminates himself all the time. And if he's willing to do that, then I just am willing to take his word for everything else that he says. You're shaking your head.
I just can't believe, like, some of the stuff that Harris said, to your point, I defend. I'm like, okay, I respect some of the stuff he said. He just had such the opportunity. Why are you half blaming Skubal? Fully blame him, dude. It is his fault. 100%. You traded him because he didn't want to be here. That's what good GMs do. That's what good presidents do. Just own that.
Also, if you're Tarek Skubal and you want to do this whole, like, I'm so sad that I got dealt, okay, then grow a pair of balls and tell Scott Boras what you actually want. Because it kind of seems like you're just letting, like, of course your agent, his entire job is to represent you and go to the table for you. But it kind of seems like Scott Boras is doing whatever he pleases while Skubal's just like, no, okay. It feels like it's the other way around.
Or it's Scott Boras is telling Tarek Skubal, hey, man, you really want to be here. Let the people know that. I mean, obviously that's how it is.
Yes, that's true. But, like, I can't help but to think there's, like, some sort of genuine, like, oh, I wish I was playing with your Tigers forever, but I can't because I want my monies. It's like, okay, man, like, but you can't have both. It's just not going to happen. Or if it's going to happen, maybe take a tiny bit of a pay cut. And you're just unwilling to even do that. Yeah, I think the Tigers fans are done with Tarek Skubal. Let's see. We got another text that says, how can he say he hates selling when year after year he does it? His form of buying was some terrible bullpen arms and signing Framber Valdez. Thank God these rookies have been good because he would have been gone this offseason without them.
I don't disagree, but also...
When were they supposed to buy before last year they could have definitely bought.
Yeah, no, that's the part I like for sure. Last year's trade deadline was the worst. I think that was the worst trade deadline there was. But I think they did a solid job, quote unquote, buying this offseason. At the time, they just didn't work. The moves failed miserably.
One more text. It says, I agree we should have traded him. If I paid $100 to see the Tigers and can't go, I sell the ticket for $10, but it's better than losing the $100. I don't know. This texter's name is Brian. Brian, we got to introduce you to some secondary markets, man, because you can profit off of the tickets that you buy. I promise. 989,
we got to get up with the times.
989-837-6125. Thanks for listening, Brian. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Quick heads up for all the parents and athletes out there. If you've got kids ready for spring sports or summer sports, or hell, even gearing up for fall sports at this point, Great Lakes Spine and Medical has you covered with sports physicals. They make the process fast, easy, stress-free. No long waits, no bouncing all over town. Plus, you're not just checking a box. Their medical team looks at the overall movement, flexibility, and injury prevention to help athletes stay healthy all season long. Whether it's school sports, travel teams, or rec leagues, Great Lakes Spine and Medical is a great local option to get it done right and on time. Appointments are easy to schedule. Get those physicals done now and be ready for game day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. on 100.9 The Mid.
So you have a question for me, Mr. Kyle Sandel?
I do, and it just kind of puts a bow on the Scott Harris, Tarek Skubal thing, because we discussed how it felt like these two were just at war over the last year and a half, whatever we want to call it, going all the way back to the 4-year, $80 million contract. That was, of course, the most disrespectful offer ever. And then Skubal's like, actually, I want to make 5x that in free agency. Sorry. And then they go to court over arbitration, the World Baseball Classic, everything that happened. Who won? Who's the winner of Scott Harris versus Tarek Skubal? Or if we could even call it Scott Harris versus Scott Boras. And you can take the cop-out answer of, well, I guess it'd be just Scott Harris and Chris Ilitch versus Scott Boras and Tarek Skubal.
It's like a tag team match.
Yeah, it is. It's a duo scramble.
It's a tag team ladder match for the Tarek Skubal contract at the top of the
Scott Boras
dangling over the
rush the rest of them. You can take the cop-out answer of like, well, we got to wait to see what the contract, Tarek Skubal, blah, blah. He's going to get the crazy extension from the Dodgers pre-new CBA. So, like, let's just kind of assume that's going to happen. Who wins? Because Skubal essentially got what he wanted in the fact that did he get what he wanted? I don't know, because he played the role that I want to be in Detroit so bad. But he gets what he wants in the fact that ultimately he wanted to get paid.
And he's going to win the World Series.
And he's in the spot where he's going to get paid. But the Tigers didn't budge. The Tigers didn't give in to what Tarek Skubal wanted, and they traded him and got value for him.
Yeah, they held their grounds.
Who is the winner?
I can't cop out and say stalemate. I don't think it's a terrible answer, though. I'll go with the Tigers for not getting bullied.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think the obvious answer is just Skubal and Boras.
I agree.
I mean, they end up in LA where they're going to likely win a World Series, and he's going to get the contract that he wanted, which is what he wanted the entire time. But you're right in the fact that the Tigers didn't budge, and they did hold their ground, and they did trade him. It's not like they just lost him for nothing, which would have been they could never win that fight, obviously.
Yeah. It's like you survived the war, but
yeah. Also,
nobody died.
You could make the cop-out answer of, like, what if the Tigers make the playoffs still without him?
Yeah.
Now, making the playoffs versus whatever the Dodgers are going to do is nothing, but I just thought that was an interesting thought because I was like, I necessarily don't know the answer. I think it is Skubal at the end of the day, but there's more to learn. Maybe it's not over yet.
Yeah, I think the battle is over, but the war is continuing.
The war is
between
not
them.
won.
Because guess what? If we want to hop in a little bit of a time machine and look forward a couple of years from now, you know who else is represented by Scott Boras? Another Tigers pitcher that's coming up and could be very quickly the ace of the team.
We're doing this already.
I'm just throwing it out there that Jackson Jobe is represented by Scott Boras. So there is a world where we're just doing this years from now.
Yeah.
I don't think Jackson Jobe's going to win 2 straight Cy Young awards.
Yeah,
but,
it's like
I mean, we've always thought he can be one of the best pitchers in the league one day.
It's like the Odyssey, The Trojan War is over, but you still have to return. There's still plenty left.
There's a lot of story left when it comes to Boras and Scott Harris. The Battle of the Scots. That's pretty good. You say the Battle of the Scots, and it's like everyone knows what you're talking about. A man. A battle. A story.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do like a really quick news?
Sure.
The Mets Morning Catch.
Really quick news. Let's do it. Tony says, just real quick, reacting to what we said, bottom line, they both win. Skubal gets a ring most likely, and the Tigers build a great future. Yeah, but we don't live in a world where everybody gets a participation trophy and winners, right? We got to pick a winner and a loser.
Is this not pretty reminiscent of sending Matt Stafford to LA as well for him to go win a Super Bowl?
I mean, like, kind of, I guess. The fact that it's LA, I don't think Matt Stafford had a tarnished relationship with the franchise.
And it's like
it was a new regime in Detroit. This is like the one that we want gone.
But I think it's similar in the sense that the Dodgers are probably going to win the World Series, and if that's the case, the Dodgers just win the war. And even if the Tigers have a tremendous amount of success and Zaire Hope is incredible, unless they win a World Series, similar to unless the Lions win a Super Bowl, the Rams just win the trade. Like the Lions have profited so much from the fruits of trading away Matthew Stafford, but they don't have the ring to back for it, so they can't say they won the trade.
They can't be the winners. Now it'd be unfair to call them losers because
if somebody won, you lost. I think that both teams can be winners. The rare win-win if the Lions go on to win a Super Bowl. But that's kind of where I just kind of assume the Dodgers are going to win the. Maybe I'm talking myself into the Scooble actually won.
I think he did. Speaking of Dodgers winners, Tigers losers, ESPN gives out their winners and losers of the trade deadline. Ben, biggest winner, who do you think it was?
The Dodgers.
Okay, you're right. Biggest loser, who do you think it was?
Who's it? What, you said this is ESPN?
Yeah.
The Tigers?
Yeah, the Tigers, yes. Dodgers are your biggest winner. They also make the Padres winners. They traded for Casey Mize. And the Tigers are the biggest losers, the number one loser of the trade deadline. Thank you, ESPN. Okay, other trades that went down, big ones at least. Adley Rutschman to the Red Sox. Whoa. This is a crazy trade. Adley Rutschman's got a year and a half left of team control. He's a 3-time All-Star. Had a really rough season last year, but has bounced back, having a great season this year. He was an All-Star once again. The Red Sox are buying, and the Orioles are trading Rutschman while his value is really high because he got the absolute return, a bigger return than the Tigers got for Scooble. But obviously a lot of different things play into that. More team control for Rutschman, a catcher, whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, though, this is a huge trade. It's an in-division trade, too, which I think makes this the most confusing one, I guess you could say. It was like when Roger Clemens was traded from Toronto to the Yankees in the midst of his prime, I guess. Weird stuff.
Weird stuff. Odd stuff. Jake Rogers rerouted as well.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of this trade, actually. Yeah, Jake Rogers is on the Red Sox. So Baseball America. With Jahmai Jones, yes. Baseball America puts out the top-ranked prospects that were traded at the deadline. Zaire Hope, who is now a Tiger, is ranked 5th in this. River Ryan was just outside of the top 5. The number one prospect was the right-handed pitcher Anthony Ianson that the Red Sox traded to the Orioles in the Adley Rutschman trade. So, yeah. We'll do one more thing here in the news, and then we'll save the rest of it for later. This is a good segue. Right before the show this morning, Bijan Robinson signing a 3-year, that's right, $67 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons, up to $75 million. He is now the highest paid annual value running back, $22.25 million. That is about $1.5 million more than Saquon Barkley makes on a year-to-year basis. What's next?
Well, that is exactly what we're about to get into. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Minute. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Hey, Scott Family Dental, if you hate being treated like a number but love showing your smile, Dr. Brandon Scott and Scott Family Dental can relate, which is why he doesn't sign contracts with those sketchy insurance companies trying to control your dental care. Scott Family Dental, they are all about you. Emphasis on you. So go ahead and get those pearly whites up to standard at Scott Family Dental. Jahmyr Gibbs in the contract saga when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, Kyle, we got a phenomenal update from Jahmyr Gibbs. The man spoke himself. You want to know what he said?
What'd he say?
3 simple words. We will see.
What do you mean by that?
He was out on the field practicing for the first time a couple of days ago. This was yesterday, actually, I believe. He runs off the field, and the media is trying to talk to him. He declines, but he just says, time will tell. 3 words. Time will tell. All right, man.
Oh, what an awesome update.
What an incredible quote. The more intriguing thing that happened this morning regarding the Jahmyr Gibbs circumstance, which I'm still like a 2 out of 10 about. Maybe the Bijan stuff makes it 2.5 out of 10. Still not really all that worried about it. Is the fact that Bijan Robinson became the highest paid running back in the NFL this morning by a pretty wide margin. A maximum deal of 3 years, $75 million. Depending on what the guaranteed money is, how they structure the contract, obviously that comes out to $25 million a year, but I don't think it's quite going to be that much. They can structure it in a lot of different ways to where, they could kick money down the road. We'll see how they end up structuring it. Nonetheless, $51 million guaranteed. And just like that, now Gibbs is up on the clock. This, to me, is, again, not something I'm stressed out about at all. I do think Gibbs will end up signing this contract sooner rather than later. I think the most intriguing part about the Bijan Robinson deal is the fact that it's a 3-year deal, because this is something we talked about all the way back in January when we were talking about a potential Jahmyr Gibbs contract situation. The fact that they've never had a holdout under Brad Holmes, one that lasted more than 24 hours. Shout out Alex Anzalone. But I made the case that they should actually give a 3-year contract rather than the 4 or 5 year maximum contracts that they had been offering players like Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, because you have the ability to just tack it on to the 5th-year option. So really, I would imagine this Bijan Robinson 3-year deal is essentially a 4-year extension, because you pick up the 5th-year option, add another 3 years onto it, so you end up playing 8 years with that franchise. I'm totally down to do that if I'm the Lions and have them sign a 3-year deal for a ton of money rather than a 4-year deal for a little bit less of a nasty cap hit every year, because I think it benefits the player. You want to hit free agency again a little bit sooner while you're still like 28 years old. Plus, it's not like you're making a long-term commitment to a running back who could, be a completely different player at the end of this contract for all we know. If you sign him to a 4-year deal, all of a sudden you're, potentially paying a guy when he's 29 years old. Who knows what the team looks like by then? Who knows if you want to be paying a running back $25 million a year by that point. I like the short-term commitment to each other in terms of the running back market, because this is obviously a new precedent. We haven't had a first-round running back get extended since Ezekiel Elliott. So the fact that the Falcons are the first team to do it, this is one of those rare instances where I'm actually not mad that the Lions didn't try to beat the other team to it. Like, remember Aiden Hutchinson? We were begging them to get the deal done before Micah Parsons' deal got done, and they couldn't do that. This one's a little bit different. I'm fine with seeing how Atlanta does it and then kind of taking notes and learning from it. Like, okay, the 3-year deal is totally possible. Hey, Gibbs, you want to do that? We'll pay you $1 or $2 million more just to do the 3-year deal. Sure, sounds great. I think this is ultimately a good sign for Jahmyr Gibbs, the fact that Bijan Robinson got paid, and Dan Campbell said the same thing this morning. He said, it can't hurt. There's no way this hurts the situation. And he did make an emphasis that, yeah, every day that Jahmyr Gibbs is not out there, it feels like we're losing a day of camp that's valuable. So I think we are starting to get to a point where kind of want him out there. Again, not all that worried. Last week when all this information came out, we said that next Friday, as in this upcoming Friday, 3 days from now, is the line to where if he's still not signed by then, maybe time to start getting a little bit worried. But I'm still sitting at a 2.5 in terms of my panic meter.
Your panic meter for what, though? That they're not going to pay him?
Yeah, that this turns into something any more than it is right now.
I think the panic meter itself has completely shifted. Like, he is going to get paid now. Now that one of them got paid, like, they always were both going to get paid. I think the panic meter is now shifted to like, oh, wow, we're really going to have to pay Jahmyr Gibbs.
That was never a question.
But, like, was it? Was it not ever a question?
I don't think so. I think we knew that Bijan and Gibbs were about to become the 1 and 2 highest paid running backs in the NFL.
And now Gibbs is about to be the number 1. I wanted them to beat the Falcons to the punch here. They were going to be able to set the example because now whoever goes second has the opportunity to be like, oh, I deserve more than that. They each can make the case. They each can. Both of them can make the case over the other one.
What is Gibbs' case?
Because it's such a toss-up for both of them. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs' case is, look what I've done in a committee backfield the last several seasons. And now I'm going to be the workhorse bell cow RB. If anything, I want to wait this thing out. Like, the numbers that I'm about to have this year, you know how valuable I am to the team. You traded away David Montgomery.
If I'm Brad Holmes right now, I'm looking at this and saying, hey, Gibbs, we want to make you one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. But we look at the number Bijan just got: 805 rushes, 3,900 yards, 25 rushing touchdowns, 4.9 yards per carry. Look at Gibbs, 675 rushes, so almost over 100 more, 100 less. 3,500 yards, 400 less. Yards per carry, a little bit more efficient. Obviously, has scored a lot more touchdowns than Bijan because Gibbs has scored more touchdowns than basically everybody in the league over the past 3 seasons. I don't know if it's like a slam dunk, I deserve more than this, because he hasn't yet proven that he can be the workhorse back. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that almost plays in his favor. Like, you guys were willing to move off of this committee backfield thing that we've had going for the last couple of years because you know how good I can be as the workhorse. You made it known. Dan Campbell said to the media, yeah, he's going to be the bell cow this year. Like, that just gives Gibbs even more leverage. And at the end of the day, like, we're going to pay him. Like, whether or not you want them to pay him or not is not the question. They're going to. It's just, are you comfortable that it's going to be the highest paid running back contract? If I'm Gibbs, I would rather have the short-term deal as well, like Bijan got. You know, you want to hit the open market even sooner. And the annual value, I think, / guaranteed money just makes more sense than the long-term contract at this point. But I always thought that the Bijan deal, or whichever one came first, I guess, was going to be the 4-year contract. So this was a little bit of a surprise, but it's not a surprise that he's the highest paid RB, and Gibbs is about to be after.
You want to know the difference between the Falcons situation and the Lions situation? The Falcons are paying a running back $25 million per season, and they're probably going to have 7 to 9 wins this year. That's best case scenario. The Lions can pay a running back $25 million and justify it by, hey, we think we can win the Super Bowl this year. That's the big time difference in these two situations. And if the number ends up being $25 million, which is like $5 million more than what anyone else had made prior to Bijan getting extended per season,
think it totally could.
And again, like the way the contracts actually end up getting set up are not as simple as, I'll take the highest number and divide it by the X amount of years. It's a little more complicated than that, but just for the sake of the argument, I think they can afford to pay Jahmyr Gibbs $25 million per season because they're on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl, and Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, this team can go win a Super Bowl this season. Atlanta's in a different situation because they're paying a running back all that money just to maybe win their division, which is the crappiest division in all of football, and then get murdered by some real contender in the playoffs.
Yeah, because they could have like a fine year, like you said, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Correct. That's why those two situations are a little bit different, and why I don't have all that big of a problem if they were to pay him $1 million more per year. He got like $100,000, a little bit more money than Bijan Robinson got. You know, I'm not all that worried about beating Bijan Robinson to the punch. I think it's fascinating though that he got a 3-year deal, because now I think that's something that you can go to Gibbs and say, I think we should sign you up for a 3-year deal. Or if the Lions
probably
really
wants that though, right? Like, isn't that the running backs probably want the shorter deal? Like these
Correct.
two specifically, not overall.
Because then you can hit free agency again and get another big time contract.
And you're going to make more. Like if it was going to be a 4-year deal, I think the annual value would just be less.
For sure it would be.
Yeah, like you're going to make more annual money. You're going to get more guaranteed money. It just makes more sense for the player 100% to do the 3-year deal rather than adding more years onto it.
And that might be the only case. Running backs might be the only case where you can actually make that argument.
I think not even just running backs. the elite ones. Like if I'm the Devon Achane, yeah, sign me up for the 4-year deal. I want the 4-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what's going to happen. If you're the top elite guys, these two specifically, they're kind of in their own world as far as how their contract situation is handled.
With running back specifically, these two guys specifically, I don't think there's anybody else in the NFL that would be like, besides these two running backs, that would be like, yeah, you know what? I'd actually rather have a 3-year deal than a 4-year deal. But the running back market is just so unique that I don't think it's all that crazy that these players want to take shorter, essentially bet on themselves that these next 3 years they're going to both be the best running backs in the NFL, and then they can hit another free agency period. And we all know how this works in general. They'll get paid the year going into their last year of their contract, and then they'll get a second extension. Or the Lions and Falcons, I think it's more likely that the Falcons say, yeah, we don't think we can. It's Saquon all over again. We don't think we're winning with you, so we're just going to let you walk and go to free agency or trade you for that matter. I don't think the Lions are going to be in that
and the
situation.
Giants just decided to let him walk, which was crazy. But I do agree with you in the fact that, reasons the Lions would win the Super Bowl. Well, Gibbs winning the Offensive Player of the Year. I just don't think you can overpay the guy. And some people still will always have the mentality that you don't pay running backs. And I mean, I can't disagree because it is a proven history of yeah, you really can't. I get it.
And then there's the 1%ers of running backs like Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right. And I think let's not overthink this. And I know they have other situations with Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. Guess what? Jahmyr Gibbs is higher on the list of reasons why the Lions would win the Super Bowl than both of those guys.
For sure.
You can't overthink this one. You got to pay him. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting. We're going to see the number, and you and I are going to look at each other, and we're going to go, wow, really? We're going to do one of those, but then we're going to be like, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is practicing. Jahmyr Gibbs is on the Lions.
Yeah.
This guy's fun to watch. I'm happy he's on the team,
Yeah, this isn't the Giants paying Saquon Barkley all that money. This isn't even the Falcons who are going to pay Bijan and then just be a middling team in this league. That's not what this is. You're paying a running back to get him out there to try to go win a Super Bowl. I think that's what justifies being able to do it. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. Live here on 100.9 The Mitts. We got Around the League coming up. I have one more question regarding this Gibbs thing that I want to get to when we come back. So stay tuned for that. 10 o'clock hour brought to you by Aired Insurance. At Aired Insurance, they understand not everyone's insurance needs are the exact same. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business insurance, they are looking to put you in the best insurance position. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aired Insurance Group on social media to stay connected every day and see how they're helping people along the way.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Ski Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
If the Bijan contract came through and it was actually Gibbs this morning that got paid, what would your reaction have been? 3 years, $75 million, 51 guaranteed. We don't have any of the details yet. What would your reaction have been if this was the Jahmyr Gibbs contract instead of the Bijan contract?
Whoa!
Me too.
I just would have spammed that. Because initially, the reporting on this was that it was $25 million a year. The up to $75 million was the phrasing on that. But the base salary is $22.25 million, which is still well over the highest paid running back annual salary per season. I would have been like, whoa. But I think at the by right now, 3 hours later, 2.5 hours later, whatever, I'd have been fine. I would have been happy that Jahmyr Gibbs is participating in practice. And I think I would have been happy that they beat Bijan to it as well.
I would have been refreshing social media waiting for the Lions to post some sort of clip of Jahmyr Gibbs practicing because I can't get enough of that in my timeline right now.
100%.
I look, it's going to be a lot of money, like you said. Once that number actually comes through and we have to see, oh my God, they're paying a running back $25 million a season. It's the third or fourth highest cap hit on the entire team. Nobody else in the league is paying a running back anywhere close to this amount of money other than the Falcons and the Lions. And then I would just take a deep breath and think, this team can win the Super Bowl this year. Like, I'm not all that concerned about the money that they're handing out and worrying about not having money to pay other guys if I feel like they can win the Super Bowl this season. The contract stuff can be handled another time, right? When it comes to Brian Branch, when it comes to Sam Laporta, like, those guys will either get signed or not in the next year and a half. Okay. They're going to play football this year, with or without a contract, it seems like. There's no Laporta holdout conversations. Brian Branch needs to get back on the field, too. If paying Gibbs is the only way to get him on the field, then you have to pay Gibbs. You're not going to sit here and trade him heading into a year where you think you can win the Super Bowl. And Bijan Robinson just set the market at $25-ish million per season. It's probably more realistically like $23 million per season. Okay, then if that's the cost of admission, and if that's the get-in price to actually go contend to win a Super Bowl this year, then you have to do it. What's the conversation to be had? Okay, fine. You think it's a bad contract? Cool. You go sit over there and complain about the contract. We're going to talk about winning the Super Bowl over here for the rest of this season, okay? And if they don't win the Super Bowl and this turns into a bad contract, congratulations. You get to take a victory lap, take your shirt off, whip it around, and say you were smarter than everybody else. Awesome. We're going to try to win a Super Bowl over in here and have these conversations. And I'm sure that's what the Lions are thinking too. Okay, maybe it's a bad contract. Maybe that's not what you're supposed to do. Okay, but if that's what we have to do in order to give ourselves a shot to win it all this year, then you do it. And also, maybe there is a world where Jahmyr Gibbs is just the 1% of running backs that exist in the NFL's history that go on to do incredible things. And if that's the case, and you have a great offensive line in front of him, then he will be worth that $25 million a year, or whatever the number actually ends up being.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, are we really just putting is this contract a good contract or not on if they win the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's one thing that would guarantee it be a good contract.
Sure, but like if Gibbs just like stays healthy and has an Offensive Player of the Year season, I think that totally is valued for that, right?
Yes and no. Like if
what's the alternative? I guess is just the proper question here.
Alternative of what?
Not paying Gibbs. Like for the people that are going to see the contract and be like, oh, what are they doing? Stupid contract.
Oh, there is no alternative. You have to pay him.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. What? Okay, then what did you want them to do? I think that's just the appropriate response to that group of fans. What? Lose him?
Yeah, like, trade him?
Yeah, you don't want Gibbs on the team? You watch that guy play?
And this isn't it's funny because there are definitely people out there that just wanted to ride this thing out and let Tarek Skubal keep pitching. Guess what? Tarek Skubal wasn't holding out. Jahmyr Gibbs is holding out. They have no choice but to either trade him or pay him. And I don't want to just trade him right now.
And here's the other caveat. Jahmyr Gibbs wants to be on the Lions and is willing to sign an extension. And the Lions are willing to pay Jahmyr Gibbs and are willing to pay him an extension. It couldn't be more opposite than the Tarek Skubal situation.
Yeah. One of them had to result on a trade because he was never going to be here in the long run. Jahmyr Gibbs has the chance to be here in the long run and play his whole career
here. And both
here.
Parties seem to be willing to do it.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs. You know what, Jahmyr Gibbs? He's handling this in a very professional way. Like, I saw some people upset that he wasn't practicing. Like, man, you think he's just, like, abandoned the Detroit Lions facility and has not shown face? No, he's there every day.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to risk getting hurt. Correct. Remember when Zeke did this? Zeke was in Cancun while his agent was negotiating his contract. Ezekiel Elliott was in a different country on a beach. Gibbs is at practice.
Yeah, remember how
in the
ugly
film
the
sessions.
Jonathan Taylor Colts stuff got a couple years ago?
Yeah.
It's about to happen again.
That got so ugly that all the running backs had to get in a Zoom call and make a stand against the running back market. Like, that's not what's happening right now.
Yeah. I can't even think of anything.
I can't either. That's not what's happening. Gibbs is willing to sit here. He's willing to still be at practice in the facility every day, going through film, going through the offensive playbook under Petzing, learning. He's just not practicing because he doesn't want to get hurt, and I don't blame him for that. But I have a feeling by the end of this week, Jahmyr Gibbs will have a contract.
I think so, too. It felt like both of these guys' deals were going to get done at the similar time because it's very easy for Gibbs to just, or even if it was the other way around, for the second guy to just see that number and his agent to be like, hey, let's just do something like that.
Yeah.
And what is the team forced to do? Agree to it. They have really no other option than to just go with what the market was set at, and this time it was set by Atlanta, not Detroit.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Lions just don't really have a ton of leverage in this situation.
But did they ever? I don't think they ever did. Their only leverage was against Atlanta, I guess, to get out in front of it. But what, there's going to be a $1 million difference between these two guys? Like, who even cares at that point?
Because unlike Anzalone, Gibbs is kind of quintessential to be a part of this team and for them to reach all their goals and hit their ceiling. And how many players can you realistically say that about on the Lions team this year? Where, like, without them, the Lions just don't get to say they're Super Bowl contenders. I'd say it's Goff, obviously.
Yeah, a handful, probably 5 guys.
Goff, Hutch, Amon-Ra,
Sewell,
and Gibbs. Yeah, it's probably those 5.
All offensive players except Hutch.
Which is the most important defensive player. Yeah. Like, you just need an edge rusher, too. Even like a Campbell, it would be, like, horrific to lose a guy like that.
I don't think that their season is over if they lose him, though.
Correct. It sucks. They could probably lose J-Mo and be okay with Laporta taking a bump. I don't think they could just lose. I mean, Amon-Ra's probably just in that group, right? Could they survive with Gibbs and
maybe
Gibbs?
I would say Gibbs more important than Amon-Ra.
I agree with that.
Just
for sure.
winning a Super Bowl this year.
Well, I like Gibbs is in that group because if they don't have Gibbs, I just don't think like Pacheco's not winning them a Super Bowl the way they want to play football.
Right
now, like I'm almost wondering if he's ahead of Amon-Ra.
And Gibbs making way less money, or he's going to make way less money than Amon-Ra.
Correct. Yeah, I almost wonder if Amon-Ra's in that. Could they survive with Goff, J-Mo, and Laporta and Gibbs as their offense? Probably.
Yeah, as long as like the offensive line is holding up, I think so. Obviously, like they have a way better chance with St. Brown, but
now the question is:
Greg Dortch, welcome to 8 receptions a game.
Is Sewell or Gibbs higher on that list?
Ooh,
who's like if we lost that player, the season's just kind of over.
Sewell, I think.
I think Sewell.
I think the answer is both. The season is over, but as far as like, is the season more over for which guy? Sewell.
Yeah, it's probably Sewell. Obviously, Goff is number 1,
especially now that he is back to left tackle. And you have Mahogany, who is probably like the biggest hole in the offensive line this year, potentially at least, next to him. Mm-hmm. Like the left side of the line just becomes nasty.
You know what I feel bad? You know who I feel bad for sometimes is Blake Miller. Where it's like, guess what, Blake Miller? You get to go against Aiden Hutchinson every day in practice. It's like, oh no. So iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him. It's good.
So I know it's an iron sharpens iron, but when the Lions social media team is like posting those clips, I'm like, oh, poor Blake Miller. He stood no chance. There's nothing he could have done.
Yeah, true.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back here on the show. Your dream lawn, Stravinsky sod can quite literally roll that out. Top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers, and they've been doing it for over 50 years, which means they're experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing your whole yard, Stravinsky delivers lush green perfection, fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for a yard. Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Stravinsky sod.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
What you munching on over there,
100.9 The Mitt.
All right, Gibbs holding in is not the only football news that's going on right now. We're going to take a trip around the league, see what's going on across all the training camps going on.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, So NFL.com has this cool page right now where it's just takeaways from Back Together Weekend, which was this past weekend. So we're a day or two removed from that. But, they send their crew, whether it's Kevin Patra, Ian Rappaport. Obviously, he had a ton of interviews with the Lions. They're just kind of giving you some sprinkles about what's going on in camp right now. So I'm going to read a couple of the major headlines that are in this, and let's just talk about a bunch of them, okay?
All right. I'll let you know if this is major or not.
Oh, well, this first one.
Major bag alert.
It's not only major bag alert, it's quite outstanding. Hunter highlights on both sides of the ball. It was Travis Hunter Day in Jacksonville. The two-way playmaker was the talk of camp on Sunday, flashing on both sides of the ball. According to the beat reporters, it was arguably the best practice he's had of 2025 of the 2025 first-rounders pro career. Hunter looks fresh and healthy after last season's season-ending injury. Ooh, I hear this, Kyle, and I get real excited yet again. There were some reports that he was only going to play on one side of the ball this year. They were going to turn him into a full-time DB, play some, occasional snaps on offense. I said, to hell with that. Let's keep playing him on both sides of the ball, push the limits on what humans can do.
He said.
Keep pushing the boundaries as to what we know our limits to be. Travis Hunter in his final game as a Jaguar before the season-ending injury had over 100 yards, had 7 receptions, had a touchdown. I think he can still be a factor on both sides of the ball.
A touchdown.
I want to continue to see him play both ways. And I do think he becomes a superstar this year.
A superstar.
Correct.
Man. Look, I will not overreact to this. Sure, this is major. No, it's not. We got all this same reporting last year. The guy didn't play two sides of the ball ever. Like, I'm not just going to buy this again. It's the same situation we had last year.
You see the photos
and yet he's
of him?
coming off of the injury. He cut his hair, right?
Well,
Got the buzz cut.
You did get the buzz cut.
Everybody's saying the buzz cut is back. Have you been seeing that? It's like a new thing. Shea went with the buzz cut. He shaved his braids.
Shea has a buzz cut?
Shea cut the braids. He's got the buzz. A bunch of dudes been getting rid of the braids or the twists.
I was referring to him being absolutely yokes now.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. But he is buzz cut now, though, right?
He is buzz cut now. Because I always thought, like...
Maybe we should get buzz cuts.
I will not be getting a buzz cut now. I always thought he was, like, an incredible talent, had incredible hands. He was just, like, a little lean to play receiver and get bullied by the thicker DBs. He looks huge now to where he won't be able to just get shoved around and pressed at the line of scrimmage because he struggled with that last year.
Yeah, I think most people felt that way too. I will say if I'm Jacksonville, like, look, you traded up for this guy. Like, you gave up mass draft capital. Play him on both sides. And if it doesn't work, then you can deal with it then. But don't, like, accept defeat right now.
I refuse to trade him away in my Dynasty League.
I think you should use this as propaganda and move him now.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
All right, rookie dart all over again. While most of the focus now New York Giants has been centered around John Harbaugh and the health of key stars, just as important as implementing a new offense, second-year quarterback Jackson Dart said this weekend during an interview with NFL.com's Mike Garafolo and Brian Baldinger that learning the new scheme is a process. So we're getting a whole new offense in New York. There's some learning curves to the second-year quarterback, looking like a rookie all over
This
again.
is just so Ben. This is just
It was the second thing that popped up.
handpick the things that prove the takes that I have.
Handpick?
What's next?
The first thing was
Wemby
Travis
is the
Hunter.
best player ever. Is that the third takeaway?
No, the first nugget was Travis Hunter. The second nugget was Jameer
Caleb
Gibbs. We already
Williams looks
talked
like
about
the
that.
best
The
quarterback
third one
in
was
the
Jackson
NFC
Dart.
North.
And guess what? I don't even know what the next one is because I only read the first 3 yesterday, and I thought this would be a great around the league.
Got him, guys. Rage bait worked. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. That sucks for Dart, though. Yeah.
I'm skipping the Achane one because I don't think anybody cares about Miami.
Well, let's talk about Jackson Dart.
I think he's the most overrated quarterback in the league going into the year.
And this proves it. Yeah, you're right. It's a good take.
I also think
is
John
not-
Harbaugh might be
Hey,
the
John
most
is not
overrated
loving this.
coach in the NFL.
John, you're just going to let him talk crap about your QB and you just got nothing to say? You're just going to let this happen?
How about this? I have another Giants take for you. John Harbaugh is the most overrated coach in the NFL.
Oh, man, this guy's just going all in. And you know what? MetLife Stadium is the worst ever.
Well, that's just factual.
Here comes John. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he loves all of this.
All right, how about this one? Deshaun Watson. Here we go.
Okay. Man, we're really...
Not worried about his past amid quarterback battle. In what was one seen as an unlikely development, Deshaun Watson finds himself competing for one final shot at the Browns' starting quarterback job. His counterpart in the preseason quarterback battle is second-year passer Shedeur Sanders, but the quarterback's room is far from divided. So everybody's together. They're all best buds. Is Deshaun Watson going to save his NFL career and be the starter week 1? I think he is.
Is that saving his NFL career?
No, that's probably lost and never getting
Yeah.
back. But, like, will he be the starter week 1?
Probably.
The answer is yes.
I'm happy to know that he's not concerned about his past. I don't think he ever was. But I'm happy to hear that.
I can't believe we just allowed this guy to still, like, do interviews and stuff with, like, Ian Rappaport
Do
just,
anything.
like, had an interview with him. Yeah. How is he allowed to play
How's he allowed
football?
to do anything?
This guy is a serial.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. He
sucks.
He is a cereal.
He sucks is
He's
what
like
he does.
Frosted Flakes.
TJ Watt, Steelers embrace tempered culture. What could this possibly mean? Mike McCarthy's arrival in Pittsburgh has already made an impact. McCarthy's hiring put his foot in the door that Aaron Rodgers had all but closed on his playing career. But the quarterback revealed Saturday during an interview that McCarthy is essentially the reason he continued playing. He's got that even-keel personality. It's very unlike Mike Tomlin. And the Steelers are embracing this tempered personality. A very big switch-up. I think this is going to fail miserably.
Yeah, I never was a fan. It felt like if you were going to move off of Mike Tomlin, it was to go into a different direction with your org. Sure, you could say that Mike McCarthy is a different personality than Mike Tomlin is. It doesn't change the fact that you just brought in Mike McCarthy to bring back another year of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The whole point of moving off of Mike Tomlin was that so you could have a bad year. You could be bad for a season and get your quarterback.
And, vault yourself forward, not backwards, for a guy who's
Yes.
already been a head coach
You should
and
have
has
just
been there,
kept
done
Tomlin at the end of the day if you were going to hire McCarthy. I'm with you.
that. Let's go. John Harbaugh offered a lesson on bear spray. Would you like to hear it?
More John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Sure. Worst coach in the league.
He said, quote, bear spray. We got a lesson on bear spray. You spray low to high. Did you know that?
Bear spray?
Think about bear. You're gonna think a bear's gonna come at you like this upright. No, they're running at you. You got to spray down low. Okay, dude. Sure.
Like when a bear is coming at you, there's a bear spray, like pepper spray?
You've never heard of bear spray?
No, I don't keep bear spray.
Well, yeah, you don't need bear spray just living
Why
in
would I
Midland,
have it?
Michigan. But if
Yeah.
you're going on a hike out west or something, you might be inclined to bring some bear spray with you just in case.
It doesn't
I think I might have had
It
some.
doesn't kill the bears, does it?
It's just like extreme pepper spray. I think we might have had some when I was roaming around Yellowstone a few years back.
Oh, okay.
I think it's mostly just a scam to keep people feeling safe. It's like, oh, what if we run into a bear? Well, the bear's probably going to be afraid of you, but it's like, oh, I need to have bear spray with
I have
me.
to pay money for this.
Yeah, I need to pay $30 to have a can of bear spray. I think it's mostly just a scam.
Now I won't get eaten alive by a bear.
Yeah, and that person who buys it will likely never, ever have to use it. But if you are going to use it, low to high, according to John Harbaugh.
It's kind of like when I'm doing my golf swing. It's like I got to keep my hands low, you know? That's what I've been working on. I really got to compress the ball, you know?
Yeah, you said that. New role for Walker in Kansas City. Things are looking up for Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Coach Andy Reid offered.
Are they? You see that clip?
I did not see this clip.
Oh, man. You got to look up Patrick Mahomes' practice clip.
Really? Okay, I'm abandoning this and looking at that.
Not good, dude. I don't know.
Is he not practicing?
I think, no, he's practicing. I don't know. Some are saying he's washed.
Okay.
I don't know. You see the clip? It's like just throws it right at the back of the helmet of one of his guys.
Oh, of his center. He just chucked it at his center.
Yeah. Like, that's not a good throw.
Oh. I don't want to see that.
It's a bad throw.
That was not a good throw. No, it's not.
He's washed.
They're saying he's cooked. Oh, well. All right, 989-837-6125. That's around the league for you. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, and we will be back here momentarily. 10 o'clock hour brought to you by Air Insurance. Haven, Michigan. Do your eyes feel itchy, dry, or irritated all day? That is not normal, and Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic specializes in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, water, or feel tired from screens, They can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye exams, glasses, contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with discomfort and start seeing comfortably again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic next to Kroger in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, Kyle, do we think the Tigers can still make the playoffs? Because I know this is a conversation that we've had multiple times. And I know we've made the joke that, hey, they're just a couple bullpen arms away from being a World Series contender, which has some validity to it. This team is sixth most runs since June 1st. Second best record in the all of baseball since June 1st. 32-20, a 61.5 win percentage. Kind of incredible stuff. And the best run differential in all of baseball since June 1st as well. The question is now just, is the bullpen good enough to actually, I don't think it's good enough to win multiple playoff series by any stretch of the imagination, but 2.5 games out from the wild card spot right now. If they keep playing the way that they are, I do think, like with that 61 win percentage that I talked about, I do think there's a pretty good chance that they will end up in the postseason. The only thing that would deter me from saying that right now is this bullpen is just not strong enough to be able to feel confident in that. 3.83 ERA, which isn't as bad as you would think for the bullpen. That's 10th overall. I think a big part of that is Kaiser Montero was in the bullpen for a while, and he had a 2.51 ERA out of the pen in 14 innings. He's kind of back in a starting role. But somehow this team has 25 blown saves, 22 saves. One of two teams that have that going for them, where they have more blown saves than saves on the season. It's just not something I trust. And if they're going to win games, they're going to have more offensive explosions to where they don't have to rely on their bullpen to shut something down in the ninth inning, because I just have zero confidence in them to be able to do that right now. So I do think they can make the postseason. If they don't, this is obviously the number one reason why.
I mean, sure, they can make the postseason. Will they? No. I don't think so.
Because of the bullpen? Or because there's too many games to
I mean, like, their bullpen has been the number one issue all season long. It has not once shown a sign of life outside of, I guess, the stretch that when Kaiser Montero was there, but we knew that wasn't long term. And they got worse at the deadline from a pitching perspective. Like, at the end of the day, if we're just talking about the team's ability to compete this year, they lost their two best starting pitchers. Like,
and then they gained Jackson Jones.
Sure, yeah, like, and they did. And River Ryan will pitch at some point this season, and blah, blah, blah. Justin Verlander might return to the bullpen. Their bullpen is still terrible, and it's not playoff caliber, not even close to it. So I would say no, but I'm not going to rule it out. Like, they absolutely still could. You look at the rest of because obviously the wild card standings is where they're the closest right now, 2.5 games out. There's still a ton of teams that are in the mix there, so I'm not going to write that in, even though you have the series against Seattle, which is a team that is ahead of you right now. But even just in the division, like, the White Sox fake bought. All they did was trade for Luis Castillo, which he's having a terrible season, but I thought it was a good buy low, but that's it.
Can we call fake buying AL Central buying now?
Sure, because that's what Cleveland did as well.
Yeah.
They added a little bit of power with Nathaniel Lowe. That's it. Minnesota kind of bought as well. They added a couple relievers. And then the Tigers sold. And then the Royals, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing.
Attempting to field Major League Baseball rosters.
They traded another starter to the Dodgers. I guess that was what they did. So, yeah, like, the Tigers are certainly still in it. I don't think this is a playoff team, though. But they're not ruled out. There's plenty of time.
See, the offense is so exciting right now, though, that I don't feel like I'm just, like you said, I'm not going to rule it out that they can't make the playoffs. In fact, part of me does feel like there's just this inevitable run coming where they'll get hot again. And they've been, like, overall, grand scheme of things, hot since June 1st has rolled around. But I do think they have, like, one more stretch in them where it's like, oh my God, the Tigers have won 8 of their last 9 games. And if that's the case, they're just going to be in a playoff spot if they do that again, in my mind at least. You'll be above 500.
They're just going to be?
That. It depends
Lock
when.
it in?
I mean, if they won 80 of their next 9 right now, yeah, they would be locked into a playoff.
With a month and a half left in the season.
Oh, I mean locked into locked is probably not the right word there. But, like, they'd be in a playoff berth if they were able to do that. Then they'd have to hold on to it, which is another challenge. I just think the addition of Max Clark to this team, now having him, Riley, Dingler, Gleyber Torres, who they kept around, like, those are just all really quality Riley Green is giving you the worst at-bats of any of those guys. And Riley Green's a 3-time All-Star. And you have a bunch of guys ahead of him that are just having either better seasons or giving you more consistently great at-bats where they're going to be disciplined and not swinging anything outside of the zone. Like Max Clark, I know it's only been a series. One thing I can say with certainty, that guy has great plate discipline. Like, we can check the box on that. That was always something Scott Harris has preached. That's what they were trying to teach him the entire time in the minor league system. He always represented that in the minor league system. Now we're seeing it up at the bigs. He does not swing at junk. It's phenomenal. It's great stuff. So to have another quality hitter, even if he's not, he's not going to hit 500 for the rest of the season like he is right now, but just someone who's like only going to swing at pitches inside the zone is so useful to have at the top of the lineup. And I know that's not where he's hitting, but I think that's where he will be hitting eventually.
Sure, yeah, ideally. I think that going back to, if this team can make the playoffs or not, if they can stay afloat on this West Road trip with these back-to-back series, Seattle, San Francisco, obviously they've already played against the Athletics. If they can just salvage like a 500 record there, and then you have the Cleveland and Chicago series, that's like the true tell right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, like this is your chance. And if you mess this up, then I probably will abandon any they can still make the playoffs. And you're going to be doing it without the guy that loves to play Cleveland more than anybody, and Tarek Skubal. And Tiger murderer Tanner Bybee's already slated to start in the middle of that series as well. I was just thinking about this too when I was thinking about you're not going to have Skubal against Cleveland. Like, this is weird. Has it hit you yet that he's not on the Tigers? I don't think it has for me.
No, I think it'll hit me tonight
I think it just did as I was thinking about this. I was like, we don't even have Tarek Skubal to pitch against Cleveland. We don't have him on the team.
I don't think it'll hit me until I see him pitch tonight for the Dodgers against the Cubs. Like, I'll for sure have that game on. It's nationally televised.
Way before the Tigers, too, yeah.
Correct, yeah. As soon as I see Tarek Skubal actually take the mound in a Dodgers uniform, I think it'll all hit me like, oh my God, he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah, like seeing him in the dugout on Sunday Night Baseball the other night for the Dodgers, it was weird kind of because you had Benetti on the call talking about it, and it's just like, okay, this is like kind of weird. But you're right. Tonight will be the true, wow.
You know, it would be the most Scott Harris thing of all time. Tonight at when's their first pitch, the Dodgers game?
8, I think.
8 o'clock. Tonight at 7:50, he should be like, Jackson Jobe has been recalled to the Tigers.
Well, I was just thinking about that. Is Jobe going to get called up? The Tigers don't have a scheduled start for tonight because it was supposed to be Mize. They don't have a scheduled starter for Thursday.
Oh, you're saying tonight?
No, not to start tonight, but they don't, I think he gets called up, right? Is there any point in him having another rehab?
I mean, he's had 5 of them. He had a AAA start, and then he got sent back to West Michigan, not because of any setback, but just because of rain. So he's
maybe
had
they
one
still
AAA
want him to have.
start.
They still. I don't think he has had a AAA start, right? I think that one was supposed to be his first. I don't believe he's started for Toledo yet.
I think you actually are right.
So maybe they still want him to do that, but it's funny because we have all this conversation of oh man, the Tigers, they have 8 starting pitchers on their team. Well, right now they have 3. In this current moment, they have Troy Melton, Framber Valdez, and Kiter Montero starting pitchers on their team because Jack Flaherty is still on the injured list. River Ryan is on the minor league injured list. He should be returning relatively soon is what it sounds like, but he is currently. Jobe is still on a rehab stint. Justin Verlander is, I have no idea where. Who is starting for the Tigers against Seattle? we randomly have 3 starters.
What's more likely, pitching by chaos or Jackson Jobe? I think
pitching by chaos, for sure.
But it's not that far-fetched to think he can pitch this week.
They are going on the West Coast trip, so it's usually
maybe wait until come back home.
Usually stuff like this is announced before this happens. And he has obviously not been with the team. So returning him against Cleveland would be kind of funny though. So we'll see.
The Cleveland series first, right? It's before the White Sox series.
Yep. Cleveland.
They should just line that up right now. They should, you know what? Yeah, again, Scott Harris tonight, right before the Dodgers' first pitch, should be Jackson Jobe is starting game 1 against Cleveland. Boom.
Or if they just announce that he's starting tonight.
That'd be phenomenal too. Yeah. Or they never announce a starter, and then right as intros are about to happen, oh my God, is that Jackson Jobe's music? Here comes Jackson Jobe out from the bullpen to start game 1. That'd be awesome.
Be pretty good.
Like pro wrestling night, which is coming up to the ballpark next weekend.
With your boy.
Mick Foley. Very excited for that. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. More on the overall thoughts that we are going to give you for our trade deadline, the grade that we are going to give Scott Harris, because I do think it is his best deadline. Very low bar to set. It's like the balance beam that's 2 inches off the ground. That was the bar, but guess what? You passed it. And I do think it was a good, I don't want to call it a great, but it was a good deadline for Scott Harris, and I'll tell you why when we come back here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Can I start out this hour with a text from somebody that we got? This is really good.
Nope.
Okay, sorry.
Ask me the question, you know, and you're going to do it anyways.
Says, Skubal betrayed the Tigers. If he loved Detroit, he should have said, I'm willing to sign a long-term contract with anyone who wants me. That would have kept his value high to all the teams, and the Tigers would have gotten better offers for him. When he made it known publicly that he wanted to go to L.A., I don't think he ever did that. What the Tigers could expect in return went down drastically. Any non-Dodgers team was going to offer less for a guy that they were only going to get for about 2 to 3 months. The Dodgers knew they could offer less, but because where else is he going to go? I wish he would have kept his mouth shut and we got a better deal. If this was the best they could do for Skubal, it's his fault for not saying he would sign a long-term deal with anybody who wanted him. And it's from Cam from Freeland. I've never really thought about it like that. Well, not like, I guess I have thought about it like that, but if he would have just simply uttered those words that Cam was talking about, like, yeah, I'll sign with anybody who's willing to give me the contract. I just want to get paid. That is so much better than just being like, I want to be with the Tigers and only the Tigers. I don't want to get traded at all. Because we all knew that the money was the important thing for him and the contract was the important thing for him. And if he would just open it up to anybody and say, yeah, I wish anybody would have signed, like, I'll sign with anybody who's willing to offer it, that implies the Tigers are a part of it. And he's right. I think that would have made the leverage for the Tigers maybe a little bit better, and they could have got 20% more.
Yeah, but Scuba doesn't care about that. Right? I mean, he doesn't care about what the Tigers get in return for him in a trade.
Sure. No, I don't think he does.
We know he cared about one thing and one thing only, and it was getting paid. And
maybe the best
right
way
now
to do that was
he's in the
getting
spot
to the
do
Dodgers.
so. Yeah, it was getting to the Dodgers, especially with the current implications going on this offseason. You know, it made more sense for him to go to the team that was going to extend him pre any CBA negotiations going down, pre-free agency. If he gets traded to Milwaukee, okay, he's also going to be in limbo, just like the rest of these guys are going to be that are hitting the open market, like Casey Mize is likely to be. Whereas him going to the Dodgers, he's probably going to get what he wants.
We should do like a legitimate deep dive as to all the different antics that Tarek Skubal has done over the past 2 years to make it seem like he is the hero in all of this, that he's the one that's being betrayed, that he wants nothing else but to be with the Tigers, when in reality, I mean, he checks off and signs off on everything that Scott Boras does. It's not like Scott Boras is doing all this stuff without telling Tarek Skubal. Tarek Skubal might not like it. He might be like, really? Is that really what we have to do to get this contract?
He's your
but
agent.
He checks off on it.
If he doesn't like it, he would get a new agent.
Exactly.
He's Tarek Skubal. Like,
or he would, maybe he doesn't like it, but I think that tells me even more about Tarek Skubal. They're like, oh, I don't like the way we're doing this, but that's what it takes to get my money, so that's the most important thing. Like, we could probably do an entire 3-hour show simply talking about all the antics that he tried to trick Tigers fans with, and it worked for a lot of them. That he
did it?
Yeah, there's a portion.
My 8-year-old cousin could point out that all this Tarek Skubal stuff was disingenuous.
There's people, the people I'm referring to, though. Regardless, we could do a 3-hour show about all the different stuff he tried to do to make the Tigers seem like the villains in this situation. And it got to the point where I was like, dude, just get out of here, man. Like, this doesn't have to be a hero-villain type of thing. You're the one that's not playing ball. You're the one that shows up here without a pen and a paper. You don't even show up. You don't even show up to sit here in the meetings. You don't even want to hear what we have to say, what we have to offer you. So I'm good. We don't need to negotiate anymore. We don't need to, do the whole cry me a river thing anymore. Go pitch for the Dodgers and have a great time tonight. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is the part about living in the most social media and notification, whatever, driven era, is that Tarek Skubal 20 years ago, we just love him. We just love the guy.
For sure.
And we probably should, right? As Tigers fans and supporters, this guy was the back-to-back Cy Young. He's one of the best pitchers that you and I have ever got to watch. We're the old English D. And
we probably have a lack of understanding as to why they had to move him. Like, it's all just speculation.
And all of this stuff about his agency versus the Tigers and everything else that went down is so public. And all of his antics are so public. I'm going to go to every single game I can go to. I'm going to go to 8 games in a weekend of all the teams playing,
and it's just
show up on the sideline and be like, I love the Tigers. I love Detroit.
Yeah, let me throw some T-shirts with the rally
Let me throw
crew.
some buffs on. I love Detroit so much.
And remember that whole weekend kicked off with him just posting a still shot in Comerica Park and just putting the home emoji on top of it.
Yeah, like it's
dog, get the hell out of here, man.
Everything is so
stupid.
public. The arbitration was so public. Like, all of it is. And that's what it makes it easy for Tigers fans to sniff it out. We're not buying it, man. Everything that happened with you, we all know what your motive is. And I don't blame you for wanting to get paid, but stop putting on this facade. And I guess it worked out for him because he got to the spot where he's most likely to get paid. So sure, like, kudos to you. Was it worth it? Was it worth all of this stuff to have to go through with the Tigers fans and the Tigers organization? It probably doesn't matter because, yes, he got to the destination he wanted to be at all along. And it certainly wasn't Detroit, even though he told us that.
You know what the dumbest thing about that whole media circus tour where he went to like 9 different games in a weekend, including the Lions, Michigan State, Pistons, whatever else.
Didn't go to the Michigan game.
Wings game, I think, too. The dumbest part about that was the posting the video of Comerica Park in the middle of the winter and just being like, home. Dog, what reason did you have to be in the dugout? Literally no reason other than to, like, you know what that screams?
Like, was going to 4 different games in a single day not enough?
Yeah,
to show how much you like Detroit.
Like, if you're in Comerica Park, I'd imagine you're like in the training facility, but it's like, nah, I gotta go to the dugout to take a picture of this. This screams middle school girl. Oh, I want to show everyone I'm at this concert. No one cares. If we wanted to be at the concert, we'd go to the concert. Nobody cares that you're at the concert. Put your phone down.
It's pretty good. It's like the people who go on vacation just to post about it.
Yes.
It's like I saw a hypothetical, by the way. I'm going off on a tangent here. I couldn't believe this hypothetical. It was, would you go on a vacation that was paid for by you? I can't remember what they said. Free vacation, but you can't post on social media about it.
Who said this? Who said that?
Dumbest hypothetical that's ever been said.
All of society, if that is a thing that people are legitimately debating.
I know.
What? You can't post it, so you
like
don't
I saw
go on vacation
I saw a video
at all?
about this, and it was a video of someone making fun of the question in general, but it was just like the fact that this was even a question. But yeah, like, did Tarek Skubal just pull up there to be like, ooh, I should go out there, take a photo, and leave? How long was he there? 5 minutes?
You know what else I don't understand? I was rewatching like SummerSlam last night. Justin Jefferson gets a front row seat, right? They give all the, like, it was in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson sitting front row. Gibbs sits front row, and it's all these guys like pull their phone out and take videos of them front row. It's like, dog, you are front row, and there is 4K HD footage that will live on from this forever with you in it. You don't need proof from your POV of what you saw. We all knew you were there. You can put your phone down and just enjoy the event.
No, see, I disagree a little bit. I like having that stuff on my, like, it's good to have for, like, oh, I remember, like, I want to go look back at photos when I was there.
I don't get that, but you lose me when you're missing the moment.
I'm not going to sit there and record it the whole time. I'm not going to do that, but, like, I'm going to, like, take pictures and videos when I'm at something. 100%. I want to have that on my phone of, like, when I experienced it. I've never agreed with that take of, like, oh, you're missing the moment because you're recording it. What do you mean I'm missing the moment? I'm recording it and watching it. I'm not missing anything. I'm actually double experiencing it.
If you're watching it,
gave it to the next person.
If you're watching it through your phone, then you have missed the moment. You've lost the plot.
What do you mean you've missed the moment?
You've lost the plot if you're watching it through your phone and you are a mere 100 yards or 100 feet away from the actual thing that's happening. You've lost the plot. It's one thing to have your phone out and just try to capture it, but if you're watching through your phone, you've lost me. Watch with your own eyeballs what's going on.
You can see the same exact thing. You're seeing it. It's no different.
No. You're telling me if the Pistons were in a Game 7 and there was a potential buzzer beater happening, you would watch that final moment through your phone?
I mean, I would want to record it. Yeah, I would want to record it. I got Yaxel Lenderberg's buzzer beater against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament.
But did you watch with your eyes or through your phone?
I can't remember.
That makes a difference.
Probably through my phone because I was recording it. I don't want to, like, mess up the video.
I think there's a good amount of times where I just put my phone in my pocket and I'm like, I just want to be here and live in this moment. Everybody else will have the video.
What does that mean, live in this moment? I'm living in the moment whether my phone is in my hand or it's not. I've never understood that take.
We just got a text that said, live in the moment, bro. Put your freaking phone down.
What does live in the moment mean?
It means you don't have to have your phone out at all times to capture moments. Like, sometimes moments don't have to be captured on your phone. That's all that means. And it'll live. If your phone is in your pocket to embrace one of those moments, I bet you will.
No, you'll
notice so much more. You'll be able to encapsulate and remember so much more rather than just the sight. You'll notice one guy over here losing his mind with a crazy T-shirt who's got his shirt up. You'll notice the sounds coming from over. Like, I think you're just so much more observant, not just with your eyeballs, but all 5 of your senses. If you're not
living in the moment because you're too busy worrying about other people that got their phones out. Worry about yourself.
No, you've lost me. This is one thing I can't get behind. It's so much.
But I'm keeping this clear. I'm not a person that's just sitting here recording the whole time. But I will do it. Like, I will record certain plays.
And of course,
I want to have that. I want to have that on my phone.
Other, I'll say send that over to me, and I'll get
I
your POV.
And then I won't.
Someone texted in and said, "I remember the birth of my kids. My phone was in my pocket. That's called living in the moment."
I thought they were gonna say I recorded the.
Yeah, are you gonna pull your phone out when your future wife is giving birth?
Yo, like,
no,
getting married, it's like you may kiss the bride. It's like 1 second. Like, yo, could you record this? Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Biggest moments
Of course, John agrees with you. Of course he does. I mean,
Of course he is. He's like a 40-year-old living in a 24-year-old's body.
40's generous. What is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing right now.
Let's go to break.
989-837-6125. We're going to have Jaden Taylor on when we come back. He's going to tell us a little bit about what the Tigers got in return for Casey Mize. This is the 11 o'clock hour. It is brought to you by Aaron Insurance. Life happens fast in it. It's brought to you by Yiter Insurance. Life happens fast in it. Yiter Insurance, you're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades. They treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can talk to. That's Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building. On 100.9 The Mid.
Jaden Taylor joining us here. High A affiliate of the Padres, voice of their team, the Tin Caps. Jaden, when you left the ballpark on Sunday, I didn't think we'd be talking this fast. I didn't think they were going to trade Casey Mize when we got real close to the deadline. 5 o'clock rolls around, they still hadn't moved him. 5:30 rolls around, still hadn't moved him. And then, bam, Scott Harris fashion at the buzzer beater. Casey Mize is now on the San Diego Padres, and in return, the Tigers get a guy that you have been watching closely this year in Cash Mayfield. So I want to start here. First of all, thanks for coming on the show with us. Second of all, what can you tell us about a guy like Cash Mayfield, who was a former first-round pick and is now, he was the Padres' number 2 prospect, not necessarily a top 100 guy, so I think it's pretty easy for people to shrug that off. But less than 2 years ago, first-round pick. What has happened in the first couple years of his professional career?
Yeah, Ben, long time no see. Glad to be back right over here on the mid. Yeah, I mean, overall with Cash, I mean, you look at him as first round pick at a high school, and again, there is projectability there to be a top 100 prospect, no doubt. I mean, the changeup by far is the best pitch that he's put together. It's a 60 on a 20 to 80 grade scale, according to MLB Pipeline. The question mark, right? Can he get the fastball back up to what it was in high school? I think that was the biggest hope for him this season. We saw it at times in the summer months in May and June. Hasn't been quite as consistent in getting that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball at times in high school, touch 97. Is more consistently 93 to 95 throughout this year. And then it's adding that slider and making it from a solid pitch to a real plus pitch. I think you add those two pieces together, which, for a 21-year-old, really young kid that's coming out of high school, still a lot of development to be able to build on his shoulders a little bit. You give him one really solid offseason of maybe putting on a little more muscle, getting a little more push back on that heater and making sure the slider is more consistent. I think you have a really solid guy at the top of rotation in a couple of years' time.
Was there an injury that happened as to the reason he's not still hitting 97 miles per hour?
Had been some shoulder issues that he had last season a little bit. They tapered down his overall workload, but going into this season, shoulder had not been an issue whatsoever. It had mainly just been building up back to the velocity. And we've seen it at times. There have been starts this season, especially in June, where we saw 3-4 straight outings where first, second inning, you'd see him at the 96 mark. The question mark, again, is getting that consistent all throughout the season.
I saw when you put something on Twitter about strikeout guy. Like this is a guy that's going to get a lot of strikeouts, which is something that the Tigers seem to want to target with their minor league acquisitions at the deadline with Brady Smith as well. What can you say about that with Cash Mayfield?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing. The conversation from to start off this season all the way until now is with your guys' organization out in Detroit is you see his ability to go after the strike zone, right? He is going to go after guys, even with 92 to 94 at times. The right in the fastball is really solid. He tunnels it really well, the changeup and the slider, which allows him to get a lot of swing and miss. I mean, his first 2 months of the season, he had a better swing and miss rate than anybody else in the Padres minor league system, even despite on a blow away 96, 97, 98 mile an hour fastball. So he's not a guy that's going to stray away from the strike zone. And I think that's a confidence booster, especially in today's game with a lot of pitchers that have great stuff, but are you going to find inside the strike zone? Are you going to be able to get out in front of counts? Even when Cash does get behind in counts, I've never really seen a competitor at 21 years old that has such an ability to never give in to a count. It's a rare time that he'll fall into a 3-1 count first off, and then two, is not able to come back and give a competitive pitch, not a middle pitch, but a competitive pitch to get back in the count.
It's funny because Casey Mize has put together a pretty peculiar career when it comes to it. Former first overall pick. It didn't really feel like it was panning out. Injuries have derailed him, but the last 2 seasons he's pitched extremely well, and now these two players are always going to be attached to the hip to some degree as the Tigers move Casey Mize over to San Diego, which I think is interesting that we could get a Skubal-Mize match theoretically in a playoff matchup if the Padres were to pull this thing out and get into the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there right now. With these guys attached for the rest of their careers in a lot of different ways, do you think of Cash Mayfield as more of hey, this is a former first-round pick who's going to have a lot of upside? Casey Mize obviously was like a top 10 prospect at one point. Or do you view Cash as more of an underdog story who can make it eventually, he's going to have to grind through it? Or is he more of like a high profile, like, hey, Tigers fans, this is someone you guys should be noting of in the minor league system?
Yeah, I think the comparison when you look at Mize to Mayfield, they're two really different pitchers overall in what they're able to put together. I mean, Mayfield, again, isn't your prototypical soft-tossing lefty, but kind of brings in a mix of a younger Cole Hamels as well as a younger Max Fried. He loves Max Fried, grew up watching him as a Braves fan down in Oklahoma, and we saw what he's been able to do now with the Yankees after a Cy Young candidate year just a season ago. That's the type of pitcher you're looking and hoping to get out of Cash Mayfield. The stuff is there. The hope is to widen the arsenal a little bit and to add on a little bit more to the heater. But again, I think the comparison that you're looking between Mize and Mayfield isn't as much, okay, we're looking to replace Casey Mize because it's a very different arsenal. It's a very different look from what you're going to see from him and what he's been able to put together comparatively to Cash. I think there's no doubt you're looking at this guy as a possible back-end rotation piece to your rotation in 3 to 4 years' time. There is that projectability. Again, there's just have to be the steps to work his way up throughout the minor league ranks and get him a little bit more length on the mound as well, which, again, hopefully with the shoulder being back to where it should be, you should find yourself back at that point very soon.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're making it seem like Padres in general just kind of limited his innings pitch. Like they never wanted to get his pitch count too high. The Dodgers do the same thing for the most part here at our system. I think the Tigers let guys loose a little bit more in the minor leagues and let them go a little bit higher in terms of the pitch count and stuff. So I don't have any doubt that they're going to unleash him and we're going to be able to get a good taste of him over in West Michigan. So he stays in the same league. You guys play him, right? Like, is it this week or next week? I know you guys have a series against West Michigan coming up.
It is this week. So Cash will go from his apartment to the hotel, which is a crazy thing to say. And we'll, take a 5-minute drive from those two places today. So it's going to be an odd experience. We don't know if he's going to pitch yet. I'm still waiting on their set rotation. We'll see what they want to do with him this week, but it's very well possible we could see on Friday, seeing the same guy who would be our Friday night guy all throughout the season was the hype prospect that so many fans here in Fort Wayne wanted to see. And well, they'll get to see him again. It just might be in a different uniform. And it'll be pretty funny. I mean, we'll see Brady Smith for back-to-back weeks, was there last week with the Loons. And hopefully we find more success against him than we did last week, now wearing a different uniform. And going to have that possibly Thursday, Friday, back-to-back, a guy we saw last week and a guy who 48 hours ago was in our clubhouse and in our uniform is just baseball. I mean, that's baseball after the deadline, and you can't expect anything better.
That'll, I'm sure, result in a couple good stories for him. You got any good Cash Mayfield clubhouse stories that you're able to tell us just to get to know him a little bit more?
Yeah, I think overall, as a person, you look at him and you go, okay, is the question mark, all right, multi-million-dollar signing bonus, first-round pick, high school guy, where's the maturity there? And at times you see those guys and you wonder, okay, early in their minor league systems, they're still trying to figure things out and be fully an adult for the first part of their life, as well as learning how to be a professional ball player. I don't think there's any issues with that for Cash. I mean, I think you're looking at, for Tigers fans, a real mature ball player at a young age that understands what he needs to do, that understands what his overall goal is in minor league baseball, hoping to get his way up to the big leagues. And I think he does a real good job of forcing himself not to be bigger, not to be in those moments. If anything, I think maybe at times he does a little too much of like, hey, you are a first round pick. You do have that confidence there. You can be that guy a little bit, but he really does an emphasis on not wanting to be someone that's bigger just because he was a first round pick and got all this money out of high school. So not exactly a funny story, but I think it's more showing the maturity that you're going to see in a young 21-year-old from a small town in Oklahoma that, again, is dealing with the professional life of being a ball player and has adjusted to that. And I think it's going to be a real good piece, not just in the clubhouse or on the field, but both sides is going to be a real good fit for the Tigers.
Well, Jaden, we appreciate you joining us again. That's Jaden Taylor, broadcast and media relations for the Tin Caps High affiliate of the Padres. Do me a favor. Tell Dan Hasty we all say hello. We got to get that message across. We need him to know that we are thinking about him over here in Dow Diamond, all right?
Will do.
All right. Have a good one, Jaden. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you.
All right. When we come back, we'll get to the news. We'll do our 3 traditions to close out every show. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We are live here on 100.9 The Mid, and it is time to know what's going on in the world. Kyle, take it away with the news.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
All right, what do we think about Dan Campbell? What do you think about Dan Campbell? No, I'm just
I
kidding.
like Dan Campbell.
When he was asked about Bijan, whatever, I don't know how to say it, his extension, could it accelerate talks with Jahmyr Gibbs? He said, quote, "It's certainly not going to hurt, but we'll see. I'm anxious to get Gibbs back out there. It'll get done when it gets done."
Yeah, he's calmed my nerve on this a lot. Essentially, like, he's never wavered in the past week. Just saying, yeah, this deal is going to get done. He will be practicing at some point throughout training camp. It's just a matter of when. And I think him seeing that Bijan got, I think he's right. It can't hurt. I don't know if it helps, but it certainly does not hurt that Bijan got paid. It gives Gibbs an opportunity to stand on something. This is the number I want. It gives Holmes somewhat of it gives him a number to work off of, you know? So I don't think it can hurt.
I'm with you. Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Report. We got other stuff from Dan Campbell. First off, boy, it sounds like a freak accident. Not freak accident, just a freak play happened to Sione Vaki. Poked in the eye and fractured his nose. He's going to need a few days away, Dan Campbell said, to deal with the broken nose. But, man, I mean, the broken nose and eye injury all at once, that does not sound like fun.
You get a freaking club to the face?
Yeah,
someone punch.
What happened?
Tried to do a peanut punch and end up getting through his face mask and punch him in the face.
And they're not doing like extensive practice right now as far as like crazy hitting drills and stuff. So I have no idea. Also, we find out just about 20 minutes ago that Malcolm Rodriguez left practice today with the Lions.
Good thing they signed Devin White, because that opens up the Devin White door for him to be the linebacker 3. Because Rodrigo had been repping as, I don't know if I classified as a starter, but as the third linebacker. And we all know the Lions love using 3 linebacker sets. So I don't want to say a massive role to fill, not massive shoes to fill, but certainly shoes to fill nonetheless.
Yeah, ankle injury, it sounds like, for Malcolm Rodriguez. So we're hoping for the best for Rodrigo. But like Ben said, we got the all-pro Devin White. So,
hey, do you want some rage bait for you? Is it part of the news?
Sure.
You know the really stupid NFL 100 list that the players vote upon?
Yep.
We got a player clocking in at number 37. Penei Sewell is apparently the 37th best player in football. I'm done with the list.
Have the Lions, all the other Lions, been announced? Is he the top Lion? No, Gibbs is probably higher.
Yeah, I don't.
Goff already been announced, right? No way he's higher than 37.
Gibbs is still on here. Goff. I don't know, man. I hate this list.
Okay. I also do too.
You can only look at it by 9 at a time. Like, I have to go to a totally different page to see. I hate this. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Let's do a little bit of something different. College talk here. We got the ruling this weekend. We haven't really discussed it yet, so this is not breaking news, but we just haven't talked about it. The 5-year window has been adjusted. The class of 2022 high school players have been ruled eligible to play, and this weekend we saw a bunch of players entering the transfer portal as they have regained eligibility for next year on college basketball side of things. On college football side of things, though, the judge that granted the injunction saying, hey, the guys that got screwed over by the 5-year window thing, that only played 4 years, they can come back. Well, it doesn't cover the college football players who signed pro deals. So any guys that either went undrafted or were drafted and signed an actual deal with their team, they cannot just be, I'm not really going to play this rookie season. Maybe I go back to the draft or go back to college, figure this thing out, and enter the draft the following season. Anybody that signed a deal professionally, and that's all including, in the CFL, that's including arena football, whatever it is, any sort of professional deal signed, they cannot return to college, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's great. That's a good thing. Professional, if you tried to go professional and you thought you were good enough to go professional, you shouldn't be allowed back into college in any sport, to be quite frank.
They had no other option at that point because they didn't have eligibility. And
Correct.
now they all of a sudden were granted eligibility, which I will say this is the one NCAA court injunction ruling that I think I'm actually in favor of. The guys of the class of 2022 high school guys just got screwed over by this new rule. Why can't they get the 5 years of eligibility when everyone else going forward will? So I think it is the right decision that they made this one. But yeah, in return of this, though, college basketball, this is where stuff gets a little bit interesting. Roddy Gale Jr., for instance, has been rumored that he may come back and play for the Wolverines this season, as well as Michigan State big man Jackson Kohler. But Kohler might not be coming back to MSU. BYU was a team that was heavily regarded as a team that would go after Kohler if he did come back to college. Tom Izzo did a sit-down interview with John Rothstein yesterday and basically talked about the team like it's fully set for this season, because it is. So we'll see if either Gale or Kohler come back to college for next season.
I think that'd be pretty big for Michigan State to be able to get either of those guys back with the expectations that they have coming into this year. This does kind of feel like the last. I mean, Tom Izzo's freshman class that he is coming in is pretty tremendous. One of the better classes he's ever had. So to have as many veterans back in the building as possible, I think could push them over the hump.
I don't think that. I mean, it sounds like they're not getting Kohler back, is what I was saying there. So we'll see if he just comes back and transfers anywhere else. A couple more things in the news. The Yankees, they called their top prospect George Lombard Jr. following the trade deadline. Good stuff by the Yankees. They were semi-active at the trade deadline. Nothing crazy. As far as the standings go for the Tigers, who are trying to chase that final wild card spot, or at the top of the division, Yankees, Red Sox, Guardians own the 3 wild card spots in the American League right now, with Twins, Rangers, Mariners, and Orioles all ahead of the Tigers. Of course, the Orioles just winning a series against Detroit, but the Tigers are only 2.5 games back of Cleveland, who sits in second in the American League Central right now, behind the Chicago White Sox. Tigers are 5.5 games back of the White Sox for that spot.
You know what I'm realizing? Is whatever the Tigers are X amount of games out from the wild card, there's a lot of instances where they have to be an additional game out. So like they're 2.5, but they're actually 3.5 because they do not have the tiebreaker over Texas.
Most of them.
They don't have the tiebreaker over Cleveland, and they don't have the tiebreaker over Baltimore. And I think the rest are still TBD.
And the Seattle one will be up in the air for
Correct.
how tonight goes. Which, speaking of that, mentioned it earlier, Tigers TBD on a starter tonight as well. 9:40 first pitch against the Mariners. Don't know who's going to start in this game. I would assume tonight is a bullpen day, even though they have had they had a day off Thursday and they had a day off yesterday, so maybe they move everyone up in the rotation, but nonetheless, I would assume a bullpen day comes tonight for Detroit.
Well, we know who's on the mound for a different team starting at 8 o'clock nationally televised. That'd be none other than Tarek Skubal.
That's correct. Skubal making his debut for the Dodgers tonight on TBS. Dodgers-Cubs at 8:05. This is like must-see TV. 2 words. Tarek Skubal, Dodgers debut.
Must see
on
TV.
national TV, must-see TV.
Yeah. No notes. That's perfect.
We actually did just, I'm seeing this right now, a quote from Tom Izzo from the John Rothstein sit-down today, saying that his roster is fully set for the season. Quote, "We gave advice as coaches, if we're going to make a decision on the 5th year, let's do it in April. Then you wouldn't recruit guys. Now I've got recruited guys for those positions. I can't bring another guy in when I've already promised guys a spot." So Kohler will not be returning. And Trey Holloman was a little bit rumored as well as like a guy who might come back to Michigan State because he is...
Talk about a guy that lives with regret every day.
He's pretty publicly talked about how he regrets leaving Michigan State, and he was at the MSU Alumni Day the other day. Like, he seems to be wishing he was still a Spartan, but he's not. We'll close the news with this. More stuff is coming out about the Shohei Ohtani translator gambling stuff that was kind of swept under the rug. Who knows?
Kinda.
But the bookie for Ipe, who was the translator for Shohei Ohtani, has been getting more involved in this investigation. And he said when he stole millions from Ipe, said that the former interpreter for the LA Dodgers showed major signs of a gambling problem within 30 days of connecting with this bookie. Quote, "He was absolutely bananas, the amount of bets he was making." Yikes.
It just continues to look more and more like it was nothing against Shohei Ohtani. He did nothing wrong.
They're really making Ipe look bad here, man. Doing a good job.
Not only is he going to fall on the sword, but we're just going to continue to stab him with said sword over and over and over again. Maybe it's actually what happened, but like, I don't know.
And I think that this is this is like an ongoing documentary series right now through ESPN. So I should probably watch this.
That is crazy.
The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani is what it's called.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that is legitimately like cleaning Shohei Ohtani. Hey, ESPN, can you make an entire documentary about how Shohei Ohtani got screwed in all of this?
Yeah. Can you make a 10-part series about how this guy actually is the best player ever while the real best player ever is winning a ring? Who said that?
99-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. We'll get to our 3 traditions to close every show when we return.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, Mr. Sandell, we have 3 traditions to close out every show. The first of which is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Before we get to our lock of the day, I should tell you, if you're looking for financial advice that actually makes sense, you got to meet Doug Shalini of Kingsview Partners right here in Midland. A former teacher and coach, Doug breaks down all the complicated stuff and makes it understandable for people like you and I. Helps families, professionals build clear game plans for their money so you can move forward with confidence and not confusion. That is Doug Shalini, Kingsview Partners right here in Midland. Today, with the lock of the day, I'm going to feed the hot hand yet again. Javi Baez is an incredible 8 for 19 since returning from injury, and there's a lefty on the mound today for Seattle, Emerson Hancock, who the Tigers obliterated the last time they played him last season. He didn't even make it through the first inning. So I'm going to ride the hot hand and go Javi Baez, 2 hits plus runs plus RBI tonight. Really tempting to take some sort of Max Clark prop, but Javi's just seeing the baseball incredibly well right now. There's only been 1 double of those 8 hits, only the single extra base hit. 7 of them have been singles, but he's just like poking the ball into the gap and finding his way onto the bases more often than not right now. So I'm just going to ride the hot hand out for a while.
Yeah, this is your first chance, I guess, to do a Max Clark prop, isn't it? Because they didn't have anything Friday, and then obviously they haven't played, or we haven't had an ability to do a show over the weekend. So
Correct.
I still like it, though. Javi's been hot. It feels like he is due to have like a OG Javi Baez game. Like more of a, not a Javi Baez game, but Javier Baez game.
That's my boy right there. That's Javier Baez.
I'm just really liking, I don't want to just resort to saying vibe because I think that word gets overused, but just the energy that the Tigers are playing with. I think Javi is one of the players. It's like, if he's playing well, the Tigers are just playing well. If he's playing poorly, who knows what the Tigers are doing. But when Javi Baez is crushing it, it usually means the Tigers are just rolling through teams.
I totally agree with that. And right now they are.
So
sure, I'll tail
why not
it.
Ride the high?
I'll tail it. Why not? Plus 130 today. You went didn't hit yesterday, so 1 unit down to kick off August. That's fine though.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
happens.
Javi Baez 2 hits plus runs plus RBI. Can we get an update in the standings?
Yeah, you're 1 unit down to open up August, as I mentioned.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. What about on the year?
14 units down, which is still a lot, obviously, but
Just got to get hot.
it was
the Tigers.
18 and a half units down going into last week. So
Don't let Ben get hot.
uh-oh.
That's the lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
If you're looking for something fun to do right here in mid-Michigan, Go Great Lakes Bay.org has you covered. Go Great Lakes is got you covered from festivals, live music, outdoor adventures, great food, and family-friendly events. GoGreatLakesBay.org is your one-stop guide for the Great Lakes Bay region. Whether it's a weekend plan or last-minute idea, get out, explore local, and go Great Lakes. Let's get to our game of the day.
Game of the day.
You know, if this was Max Clark's debut was the game of the day, right? So I don't think we can just the Tigers are hot. Let's continue. No, Tarek Skubal's pitching for the Dodgers tonight at Wrigley, a place he's never pitched before, and it's his debut in the Dodgers uniform, in which they are the favorites to win the World Series. Do you remember the numbers off the top of your head? You told me before the show, I think yesterday, of what their odds were to win the World Series versus anybody else. That was insane.
They were plus 155 to win the World Series in the first week of August. That's like a number you would get when there's 6 teams left in the playoffs, or 4 teams.
They think it is more likely that the Dodgers win the World Series than it is that the New England Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks week 1. You know who has shorter odds to win a World Series versus a regular season game? They think it's more likely that they think it's more likely the Dodgers win the World Series than Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Bengals week 1. That's plus 176. What are we talking about? This is crazy.
It's unbelievable. Obviously, the Scooble tax coming into effect there.
Yeah, the worst time to ever bet on
never
the Dodgers to win a World Series.
Terrible, yeah.
Why?
But Scooble Cubs tonight though. That's fun.
It's
I just
gotta be
wonder
a
how
game
long
of
of
the
a
day.
leash they go. If I'm Dave Roberts, am I really going hey, I heard about all the Tiger stuff. I heard about all the fans being mad about it. He's pitching 9 tonight.
I mean, that would be such an FU, too.
Complete game, 115 pitches. We don't care. I would assume that's not going to happen because the Dodgers have dealt with enough pitcher injuries this year, and it's his first start with them, so he probably just gets a more tempered start. But I just thought that was funny.
I would be throwing up in my mouth if he went 9 full innings tonight, and it was basically a middle finger to the entire Tigers organization that would never do it. That'd be really sad. I don't think it's going to hit me until tonight, but I think you said this is on TBS. I think once this actually starts and they're doing the pregame package and he throws the first pitch and he does his first Scooble scream, it's going to be like, oh, wow. This guy's just not on our team anymore. And it's finally going to hit me.
And
I don't think
like
it
I
has
said,
yet.
I think it just started to hit me today, just thinking about when I was looking at the schedule and it was the Cleveland thing. It was like, oh, we don't have Scooble to pitch against Cleveland. Oh, wait, we don't have Scooble to pitch against anyone because he's not on our team. It's finally actually starting to hit me at this point.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I don't even think there's anything in contention. I think Caitlin Clark plays a game tonight, and that's been controversial as of late. It's really Sophie Cunningham that's been controversial as of late. The entire Fever team in general.
This whole squad, mainly Cunningham, though.
But
hey,
no,
our
it's going to be
our
the
Cunningham's not controversial.
Our Cunningham might be the most least controversial star in the NBA, honestly. One of them.
He's up there. Also, no Tuesday Tower today, huh?
No.
Gary was in the YouTube chat, man. He wanted one.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a lot going on today in terms of...
No, I know.
Usually the Tuesday Tower is I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Oh, let's do a Tuesday Tower. But we didn't have one today. Maybe we'll have one next week. All right. Speaking of next week we're going to be giving away Curveball Collectibles, hobby boxes. Mike Wilson's going to be coming in for Big Win Wednesday thanks to Garber Chevrolet. But tomorrow we're giving away Loons tickets. So last couple chances to see the Loons. They've got 12 home games left, assuming, well, I guess they could have an extra game or two if they make the playoffs. But 12 regular season games left. We're giving away tickets tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for Big Win Wednesday. That'll happen at 10:15 tomorrow. Chance to win Loons tickets. But we still got to close out today's show. So let's get to our final tradition. Well, do you want to close out game of the day first?
Yep.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Okay. Now we will get to the final tradition to close out every show, which is predicting what Colin Cowherd opens with. I got a point yesterday, Kyle.
I was going to say, you did get a point, right? I honestly couldn't remember.
Which means it is tied 67 to 67. And it's your turn to go first.
Do we cancel guessing Colin's open?
Nope.
Is it peak right here?
Nope.
67
I
to
can
67?
think of something that we could get to pretty quickly.
Are
that
you
would be
kidding
funny.
me? Oh, my. Yeah, one of us needs to get 2 more, and the other one stay here.
Okay.
God, that'd be so good. Okay, it's my turn to go first today. Colin was back, correct? I don't even remember anything from Colin's show yesterday. Colin was back?
Yes, Colin was back.
Does he just go right back to the Dodgers? Does he go to... I mean, the deadline was yesterday. Reacting to the deadline feels right, but Bijan Robinson got paid. I think it's Dodgers again, though. I think it's double Dodgers. Scooble's pitching tonight. It's going to be like some deadline talk where he goes right back to the Dodgers. That's going to be my pick.
Give me just both Gibbs and Bijan. Give me the running back market.
That's fair.
I'll take the running back market and what this means and why it's good for some teams and not good for others. Deal?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. That is guessing what Colin has to open his show with. Specialty Infusion Center is coming to Midland. They're open mid-July. Hey, would you look at that? It's August. That means they're open. Their experienced team provides personalized infusion care in private, comfortable suites with insurance verification, referral support, and even home infusion options when it's appropriate. They're accepting new patients and referrals now, so call 989-214-4998 or visit specialtyinfusioncenter.com to learn more. I got to admit something to you. I'm really glad the deadline's done. I'm so done with talking about the deadline.
Yeah, we can root for the Tigers again. Remember,
Yes.
That's what I said before the show. I actually can root for the Tigers to win games now.
We can be fans. I am so excited to watch the Tigers tonight, and I feel like I've been missing that for about the 3 weeks leading up to the deadline because there was such a drag that was going on. I felt like I was being dragged.
I think our
through the
fans are
deadline.
happy it's over, too.
I do, too. Not our fans, Tigers fans.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. See you then.
The Ben Bosscher